what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 15, we think, of Striking a Chord.
I told you 104.
Yeah, 104. I am Mad Manda. With me, as always, producer Rich.
I'm delirious.
And joining us... Delirium's a good thing right now.
Yeah.
And then joining us a little bit later, Matt Malone will be back because clearly you guys liked him so much.
This is a very interesting show later on. I'm just going to go ahead and tell everyone now. You're going to want to stay tuned. Stick around.
It's also probably our longest episode yet.
Yeah, no, it's one of them, yeah. 100%. 100% worth it because it just becomes a hoot.
As I'm remembering, as I'm thinking about it again, it totally does.
By the way, this episode might yield a poll. The more I keep thinking of something that happens right after the commercial, yes, kids, there's a commercial today. After the commercial, I really do think it might yield a poll. But you have to stick around to hear what the possible poll could be.
This could be interesting.
All right.
Okay, so some new music came out Friday, obviously. Not too much, actually. It was a decent amount. We're going to save the best for last, though, to talk about. So
Did the chick who sang Friday release a new song? Yes? All right. No? All
right. So we're going to start with Dylan Carmichael, who is more on the traditional side. And so he's actually the nephew of Eddie Montgomery from Montgomery Gentry.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's like country music royalty.
Wouldn't that make him also like the nephew of John Michael Montgomery too?
Yes.
I was gonna say no. That's some bloodline right there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm almost. You guys can double check my facts, but I'm almost positive he's the nephew of both Eddie Montgomery and John Michael Montgomery.
Well, just being related to those two makes it that's some powerful blood.
Yeah. So he released a single, not off of the debut album that came out last year. It's a new single. It's called "I Do For You." More of an up-tempo love song. It's about, doing things that you never did before because, you do them now because of the person you love. And they're totally things that you would have never thought about before. Like, guys, let's be real. Like, you never thought about taking bubble baths before, you got a girlfriend or a wife or whatever.
You've clearly not met me.
But no, he's, like I said, he's definitely more the traditional sound. This song's a little bit more, like I said, like up-tempo. So it's actually pretty good. I shouldn't say actually because... he is good, but it's a pretty good song. So if you lean a little bit more towards the traditional country sound, definitely check him out. Hunter Hayes released another one. This one is called One Good Reason, and it's continuing with that new musical direction that he's headed in, which he started on with, I believe it was Heartbreak was the last single that he put out. So this one is a sad song about not being able to move on after a breakup, and he just doesn't have one good reason to move on, basically. Like I said, really kind of depressing, but it's good. It's not bad. I'm curious to see what else we get from him with this new direction that he's going in. So if you're a Hunter Hayes fan, I don't see why you wouldn't like that, the new song. And then Mr. Brantley Gilbert, Mr. Tough Guy, that he, as we know him as, released the most vulnerable song that he's ever released yet. This one is called The Man That Hung the Moon. And so it was inspired by his son and future second child. I don't know if his second child, if he's having another boy or a girl. But yeah, this one, it's a super, super sweet song. Vocally, he's really on point. Yeah, it's a good song. I can't, it's not my favorite Brantley Gilbert song, but I definitely get the appeal, obviously. I think for me, there's just some kind of a disconnect between the music and the vocals. I don't know. It just could be me. I could have been in a weird mood and maybe I just need to give it another listen. But it is a good song. Especially if you have kids, you'll love it. John Langston, Now You Know. So we've talked about John Langston before. He's a Georgia boy and he's really good. He's got a great vocals, very strong vocals. And this is a good song, but for me, there's nothing new or refreshing about it. It's pretty much that typical sound that we've been hearing lately. I thought, considering the songs that he previously released, like Dance Tonight and When It Comes to Loving You, I thought he was headed in a really good direction with those songs. And so this song doesn't really reflect that. The lyrics kind of feel recycled is the best word that I can think of for this.
Good. That's not good.
No, and it's not, like I said, it's not a bad song. Like, it's listenable, like, totally. I'm sure people will be jamming to it this summer. But for me, it wasn't anything worth writing home about, so to speak. And then I feel like I'm going to probably be a little bit harsher of a critic this week, guys. I don't know why, but I just feel like it's going in that direction.
Ooh, is this your emo phase?
It's just, nothing's like super like really impressing me. Like, I want something that's just gonna blow me out of the water. And
I can't argue this. There was like one thing this week there's two. There was two this week that made me so like I can't believe I put one of them on my playlist. But
Chris Young released a new single. It's called Drowning. Very, very sad song about the loss of his best friend and how, remembering him comes in waves. And yeah, he's just drowning in that emotion. So it's really, really sad. So it feels like it's like he's trying to be classic Chris Young, which is a great thing because that last song that he put out, I wasn't really a fan of it. But for some reason, this could just be me. So go listen to it for yourselves. But something feels off. Like there's some kind of a disconnect. It could very well just be me, guys. It could, because everyone's raving about the song. But I'm not one of those people that I'm not going to try and sell you something that I don't fully believe in. And it's a good song. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite. So again, that's just me. I'm always going to tell you what I think. Like, I still love Chris Young as an artist. It's not my favorite song by him. But yeah. And then Kelsey Ballerini. So there's this reality competition, and I want to say NBC, but I could be wrong.
Oh, is this
called Songland?
I don't know how I feel about this just yet.
I haven't watched the show yet.
I think the idea is cool. I think the idea is fine, but I'm tired of singing reality shows. So I don't know if I.
So it's not actually a singing reality show. They're bringing in people who consider themselves songwriters,
right?
And they're having them write songs, and then the artists like Kelsey Ballerini, John Legend, I forget who the other artists are, and if they hear the song that they like, then they're gonna record it. And so Kelsey Ballerini heard one that she really loved, and she recorded it and released it last Friday. It's called Better Luck Next Time. So the beginning, I think, really, really highlights her vocals because it's just her vocals and the acoustic, or at least that's what it sounds like to me. And then as it goes in further into the song, it gets more instrument. There's more instruments brought in, or effects, or whatever. So I think it would be perfect for pop radio. But yeah, I love the song. I thought it was a great song. So I think she definitely had made a good call there by choosing that contestant song to record. Like I said, I don't watch the show, so I can't give you more details.
I don't know if this show is going to have the longevity of The Voice. I don't
know. I think it's something different, so I think people just kind of like got to get used to it,
Dear NBC, bring back the sing-off. That's all I asked for. Like, that was a show.
But did you see if The Masked Singer is coming back for a second season?
I have to watch that because I
love that show.
I didn't watch the first season until I watched it all at once, and I went, okay, this is actually a lot more fun than I thought it would be.
It was really fun.
So I'm gonna check out the new season.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys haven't seen that yet, definitely go watch that because I loved it. I thought it was really fun. It was a different kind of take on it, and the judges are all really cool. Jenny McCarthy, Robin Thicke, Nicole Scherzinger, which sometimes she gets annoying, and then what's his name? Ken something. He plays the Dr. Ken on.
Ken Jeong, yeah.
Yeah,
that dude's awesome. That dude is awesome.
Yeah, he's funny.
His stand-up specials are really good.
So yeah, between the four of them, it's very entertaining. Nick Cannon, who I never really gave a lot of thought to before, he hosts it, and he does a really good job.
Wasn't he the host for America's Got Talent for the longest period?
Maybe. I never watched that show either, though.
he's a good. I remember him in All That. That should explain. Okay. Yeah, he was on. I think around the end of the run of All That. And then he got his own improv show on MTV2 and married Mariah Carey and screwed her
Right.
up, and just all downhill.
But he's bringing himself back to the spotlight with The Masked Singer. But moving away from reality TV, going back to new music. So Riley Green, who is, again, he's got more of that traditional but modern sound to him. So he released a new EP called Get That Man a Beer. And so a couple weeks ago, he released a new single, Numbers on Cars, which I told you guys about. And then, so that's on this EP, as well as 3 other new songs. One of them is called In Love by Now, which personally, I think that one and Numbers on Cars are the best songs on the EP. Overall, the EP is not bad. It's not as great as I hoped it'd be, but it's not bad. I think he can do better. I think he has a great sound that's meant to do better things. But again, what do I know? That's just me. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh. I don't know.
Or maybe not harsh enough. You never know how people are sometimes.
I think sometimes people, especially in the media industry, maybe I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but whatever, people are afraid to say something negative about anything, especially in the country genre.
If you enjoy negativity about a lot of stuff, please enjoy all of our shows. There you go. All of them.
You're never going to hear me hate on anyone, even like if I'm not a fan of like Miranda Lambert or like a huge Luke Combs fan. Like, I'm never going to hate on their art because it's still their art. Some people out there enjoy it, so that's fine. I'm never going to bash it, but I will tell you if I genuinely don't like something or if I don't think something's good. I'm always going to give you guys, I'm never going to sugarcoat it for fear of, what the artist is going to think. That's just not me.
I feel like more artists would appreciate that, though, instead of a bunch of people kissing their butts.
Exactly. I would hope so. Like, there are certain outlets that they don't ever release a bad review. And it's like, really?
Yeah, I actually, when I first started the website, I thought about this. I thought, like, if I ever do a negative review, what happens? And then I heard something and went, I can't talk about this positively. I just can't. Like, I can't find there's a book review that Sharon did. You can go back and find it, that she did, and it's the most sarcastic, good, bad book review you'll ever read. And because she hated the book, but she still never gave it a bad review. And I'm like, you should have gave it a bad review.
Yeah.
Like, if the book's terrible and it's like C Spot Run, I understand that. So no, that is something that I feel like a lot of media people tread.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what? Just say your feelings sometimes. I think more people would be appreciative.
Yeah, I think so too. So Montgomery Gentry released a new album. It's a 7-song album, and it's pretty much the last bit of music featuring Troy Gentry.
This broke my heart when I saw this on my list. Yeah, I was like, how did this... What? No, they had new music, and I didn't know this. Mm-hmm. And my heart just sunk a little, because I went, I don't know if I want to listen to this. Not because it's not going to be great, but because I don't want to be sad.
Yeah, it was really sad to listen to it because you remember, I mean, it was just so heartbreaking when he passed. And I mean, we've lost how many great musicians to
fair question.
Plane crashes, helicopter crashes.
Fair question. They probably were the best duo since Brooks and Dunn, because I feel they've been the most recognized.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So the new album, it's different. It's a little weird, some of it. The title track, Outskirts, is really good. I think that's probably the best song on there. And then Never Been Nothing Else isn't too bad. The rest of it it's not bad, it's just different. So it actually makes you even more sad then, because you wonder what direction they would have gone in after this, So
they were going to try to reinvent themselves, is what I'm hearing.
I don't know. We'll never know now.
That breaks the... I get at some point I'll listen to it, but right now is not the time. Like, I know. That's still... Okay, so I don't... Fresh. I get sad. I get sad a little bit when I see celebrities die, but when it's like an artist that I've listened to so much, because Montgomery Gentry actually brought me back into country for a little bit. Like, I had went away and I went, nope, I'm gone. And then I can't even think of the name of the song. And I was like, who's that? And... And then I found out who it was, because I always rooted for them. When that first song came out, I was like, I hope they beat Brooks and Dunn, because I was tired of Brooks and Dunn reigning at the top at that time. I was just like, no, I'm done. And then there they were, and they were amazing.
Yeah. Definitely. So if you're like Rich and you're not ready to listen to new Montgomery Gentry music yet, might want to wait on that. Adam Sanders released a new single. It's called "I Just Sing." I don't. If I could talk correctly tonight, it's called "I Don't Just Sing About It." So he's got such a country voice. Like, it's really, really, really good. Very traditional, both in the sound and the lyrics in this particular song. So it's basically saying that everything he sings about, he's actually lived. He's not just singing about it for the sake of making a good song. And it is a good song. I actually really enjoyed this one. So if you like more, like I said, more traditional country sound, but still some modernness to it, I actually think it would do well on radio even now. I think it's got that great balance, and it's the perfect song to help bring the genre back to more like, let's say, like early 2000s country. So I enjoyed it. And then one of our song suffragettes, Jenna Paulette, released a new single called Wild Like the West. And so she's got a really cool, different vintage country with like a modern twist kind of sound to it. And she's very like, she's from Texas, so she's very cowgirl, but still like got this, I don't want to say like an R&B sound to it because it's not, but it's like,
oh, okay. I was trying to remember I was trying to remember, like, I remember seeing who she is now. I was like, oh, I know I know who she is, but I can't remember who she is.
Yeah, I featured her in my, I think it was last year's, like 9 female country artists that you need to know. I can't explain her sound well, so you guys really just have to go listen to her. She's got some really great songs. And so this song is basically just explaining to her significant other that he should not try to control her, but rather, let her be wild and a little unpredictable, because she's wild like the West. So it's kind of cool. It's very, I would say it's probably very true to who she is, because she's from Texas, and she's very, I don't want to say upfront, but she's very transparent about, how she grew up and everything. I mean, you see her out on the ranch milking cows and herding the horses and the cattle, it's just really cool. So she's definitely someone you guys are going to want to keep up with and follow on social media. Like I said, really cool, different kind of sounds from her. She's got something coming in September. I'm not sure if it's an album or an EP, but it's going to be released in September. So keep an eye out for that.
I'm guessing it's an album.
I think so.
I feel it coming.
Oh,
no, it's an EP. It's an EP. It's actually up on her Twitter right now, right in front of me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Modern Cowgirl Volume 1 EP.
Yeah.
September 20th. Wow.
She's also got a really cool, if you go to her website, her merch store, she's got a really cool, I want it, but it only goes up to the size extra large, so I'm not sure if that's going to be just, if it won't be, big enough. But, so it's a really cool, pale pink hoodie, and on the back it says Modern Cowgirl. It's got this, really cool logo on it. It's really, really, really nice. If you guys are looking for artist merchandise to buy, I would definitely recommend that. So Adam Doliak released 2 new songs, Solo and then Wake Up Beautiful. I prefer Solo of the 2, but they're both pretty good. So Solo is really sweet in the same way that I think Brett Young's Reason to Stay is sweet. It's kind of that, don't, go to work, I don't want to be alone, I want you to stay with me kind of thing. He's got, I've talked about Adam Doliak before. He's got a really good, fresh sound to him. Somebody who I hope and I think that we'll see more of, hopefully even on mainstream radio. I know he's really doing well on satellite radio right now. And then Wake Up Beautiful is good too. But I would actually, so this one's a little bit more upbeat, but the lyrics I think what would make it a good slow song. If you listen to it, let me know what you think. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, if what I'm saying even makes sense. I'm starting to catch that delirium that Rich was talking about.
Yep.
But yeah, it's got one of those kind of vibes to it where the lyrics don't really match super, super well, with the beat to it, the tempo.
Huh.
So I just feel like I'd be curious to hear it slowed down, like rearranged. And then Justin Moore released a new single off of his upcoming album. It's called On the Rocks. This was really good. His vocals really shine on this song. Excellent vocal work from him. Feels really country lyrically too. So it's it starts off as a piano ballad, and it's very piano driven even throughout the rest of the song, which is kind of different for him. So I thought that was cool. And then, so it's basically about the after effects of a bad breakup, and it's a lot of play on drinking words, but not in like a cliche or like bro country kind of way. Like it's very like more of like a traditional country kind of what do you call it? I can't even think properly right now.
Yeah, no, my mind blanked.
But yeah, it definitely leans more towards the traditional country breakup song. In the same kind of way, like I want to see maybe like a George Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, you lost me. Oh no, you brought me back. It's okay.
No, George Jones.
You brought me back. You brought me back.
So if you're a Justin Moore fan, definitely go check out this song. And then that brings us, well, actually, so there's one more, but I didn't listen to it yet. Actually, I meant to add it to my list, and I forgot. Rich actually reminded me. So Marshmello released a new song with A Day to Remember, which seems like a really weird pair up, but you said it's really good.
It's really good. I'm not the biggest fan of. Well, I got introduced to Marshmello by watching Good Mythical Morning, and then I got and I mean, I know who Day to Remember is. I'm not the biggest fan of theirs, but I listened to this and went, what? This is not something I expected from both of them. And then I went, this is something I could listen to more than once. It's a little bit more slower than what you expect from them.
Okay.
So I went, whatever, I'm in. It's a good song. I like Marshmello now, so that's something I can add to my resume. I don't know. It's a good song. It's called Rescue Me. I would give it a shot. If you're so if you're a fan of either or, you've already heard it. If you're on the fence, this is a good song to go. I think this is a good introduction song to both.
Okay.
If that makes sense for everybody.
All right. Yeah, I definitely, like, after you told me about it before we started recording, I added it to my Apple Music library so I can listen to it tomorrow morning.
I'm a little surprised that I enjoyed it. Now, not to say that I'm not saying that I don't like either one, but I'm just saying I'm a little surprised that I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and because I just went on this. Thanks, YouTube, for taking me down a rabbit hole too. Like that's how I remembered it was on, because I was like, oh hey, I remember this song came out, and yeah.
So that brings us to our last new music alert.
Wait, can we talk really quick? Bruce Springsteen and Madonna also released stuff, but I listened to both.
That's true.
Bruce Springsteen's is Bruce Springsteen. You like him, you like him. If you don't, you don't. Pretty much that. Madonna's album, a little weird.
Yeah, I'm not surprised though.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think I have to give it a second chance.
Okay.
It's Madonna. I mean, she's always reinventing herself.
This is true, but I haven't liked anything she's done in a long time.
I haven't liked anything since the Justin Timberlake song. And
I don't even remember that.
Oh geez, I couldn't even answer it now. But it's been a while. Madonna has not really done, like, I'm always gonna probably, if you ask me to listen to Madonna, I'm gonna go back to the 80s. So
right, yeah, 80s and 90s.
All right, now let's get to the good stuff.
So Taylor Swift,
booyah,
very nonchalantly dropped the news that she was dropping a new song on
Friday.
Broke
Instagram.
Dude, I could not get on Instagram to save my life to post about her, mind you.
So fun story. I was watching the video. I was watching the video on Thursday that she posted. Like, I'm going to release a new song. The album's called Lover. I'm releasing like 60 books in Target. And then all of a sudden, Instagram just goes, brr.
Yeah, for the life of me. And then it dawned on me as I went on Twitter. I was like, oh, well, she broke Instagram. Like, what the hell?
And we've now figured out the name of the 8th album, I Broke Instagram.
Oh, my God. So the new song is You Need to Calm Down. And actually, it's going to be kind of weird. So when you're hearing this part, but then when you hear our music news later in the show.
Which was recorded before that song came out.
Yeah, so you're going to be a little confused. I apologize for the mix-up.
That is not the poll. That is not the poll question.
But so the song's called "You Need to Calm Down." I personally like it better than Me. I like it a lot better than Me. The more I listen to it, especially.
I just like both songs. Like at this point, I'm going. It's the summer of Taylor, and we're just all here for it.
In this song, she's totally coming at internet trolls and people who just in general hate on others for no reason, and she does it in a very colorful.
It's a pride anthem.
When I say colorful, I really mean colorful. I don't mean like vulgar kind of colorful.
Can I just say it's a pride anthem?
Yeah,
it is. And it's fantastic. The cameos in this video.
There's part like. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, just I can gush on this video. I could talk about this video for days. Like the cameos alone, I literally screamed for 2 of them. Like,
I loved the Ryan Reynolds cameo.
Okay, so there's a cool story. Ryan Reynolds is painting the Stonewall Inn, which is how Pride started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Pride started because of a riot, and he was painting where the riot took place. There's a lot of things in that video that I think BuzzFeed's released like all the things about it, because BuzzFeed's on top of that stuff all the time.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. But yeah, he's painting the Stonewall Inn in New York City is where Pride originated, all due to a riot.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then Ellen DeGeneres makes a cameo.
With Cruel Summer tattooed. And another fun story, because I'm on all about this right now. So Taylor was on the Ellen DeGeneres show recently. Like right after Me came out.
Okay.
And Ellen's like, hey, can I be in a music video? Well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At that time, there was a sticker being passed between the 2 of them, and you can see the Cruel Summer tattoo.
Oh.
I was like, they'd already filmed it. Damn.
But yeah, so it really is a great video. It's again more of those pastel and bright colors, very well shot, very it's just a gorgeous video. In like I said in the beginning, like the first verse is mostly like the internet troll thing. I love how she's like, geez, you're coming at me and it's only 7 a.m. Like, are you okay?
The watch is fantastic.
Yeah. And then I love the line that's snakes and stones never broke my bones.
And then
I love that.
And then the shot goes right into the opening of what Me was, and it's like a fake tattoo on her back.
Yeah.
Love this.
Musically, it feels like to me like a mix of 1989 and Reputation.
Did I not call where that was going, by the way?
Because it's got that I don't want to say necessarily like the synthesizers, but it's got the soft feel to it that 1989 had. But it's also got like lyrically, it's not like it's not dark like Reputation, but lyrically, it's taking shots at people, but in a productive way.
Yeah,
in a correct way.
This is you remember how I described ska?
I think so.
It's happy negativity.
Yes.
That's what this song is.
Yeah,
because she's calling people online dicks, but being so nice about it. Like it's a pop song about how much people suck.
Yeah, basically.
Not everybody, but just certain people. And oh my god, such a powerful video too. Oh.
Yeah. And then for the finale at the end, freaking Katy Perry.
Okay, so this is one moment I screamed. So I didn't see this coming.
No, I didn't either. I had to do a double take. I was like, wait, is that Katy Perry? Wait, are they friends again? How long is this going to last for?
Yeah, and apparently Taylor gave her a plate of cookies and icing. It says, we like something about peace. And
oh boy.
Yeah, I know. So I guess we're going to get a Katy Perry Taylor Swift collab sometime.
Oh, jeez.
And the world will explode. Like,
that's going to be insane.
Who was it? Yeah, so we're writing back earlier, and Ashley's listening to the song, and she goes, if the tour ends up being Katy Perry, Panic at the Disco, and Taylor Swift, everything explodes, right? Like the world just implodes on itself, correct? I'm like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, the beef's over. I think Taylor Swift's tweet is the best about this. Like, it's a Happy Meal now. And it's
I didn't see that tweet.
Yeah, and now this friendship is beef free, and that was Katy Perry's tweet. I'm thinking, my God, you guys are on top of this. Katy Perry wore that same outfit to the Met Gala this year.
Oh,
again, yeah.
Wow.
So
this has really all been like in the making for quite a while.
And the other part I popped for is my favorite RuPaul's drag queen was one of the impersonators.
Oh, the dancers?
Yeah, no, the artists when they're doing the pop queen thing and RuPaul's bringing out the crown in the video. Because I thought that was Taylor's.
Okay.
Okay, so not the girl who's okay. So I thought it was Taylor Swift when I was watching the video. Realized it's not. So kudos to Jay Jolie. But I was like, this video is just happy.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness, it is the happiest video, and with a really cool message too. And I love the video. That's all.
Yes, I definitely like it better than Me.
I'm gonna struggle with this for days because it's so good, and so I thought Me was a great video. Like cinematically, Me is a great video.
Yeah,
but I'm like, I don't know. I like both. This is probably going to be my favorite Taylor album. I'm just calling it now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm already.
It's still too early for me.
I'm on board with the 2 songs so much now. Like I don't even care. Like I've already pre-ordered the album. I'm cool.
Oh boy.
On vinyl.
Oh my God.
That was a delirium purchase.
I'm not surprised.
Well, Katy Perry's got new music coming out too, so.
Oh, really?
Yep. I would keep watch of that.
So this is a very good marketing strategy for them.
Oh, if it is, yeah, 100%. If it's not, it just kind of fell into place, then even more.
So then, unless you have more gushing to do.
No, I could do this all day. Like, I could seriously make a whole show on this, how great that video is.
So I do have one artist to watch for you guys. I happened to hear it on the highway over the weekend. It's a guy called Hunter Phelps, and I heard his song "Throwing Parties" on the highway. I think it was like On the Horizon, their segment that they do. So to me, it kind of sounded like Chase Rice meets John Langston. And the song itself is about the party and stage that comes after a breakup. So it's nothing like groundbreaking, but it was catchy enough, like it caught my ear. It kind of maybe a little bro country, but not in an obnoxious way. It's just that sound, but at the same time, there was something about it that was catchy enough to where, like I said, like it caught my ear, and I added it to my playlist. So nothing groundbreaking, but it's good. I think it's worth checking out if you're into that. He also has a 2017 EP called "Hope It Starts Raining." There was a couple songs on there I enjoyed, so I would recommend checking out Hunter Phelps. Like I said, the latest single is "Throwing Parties." And then for my Amanda's music pick of the week, so clearly there was nothing that I was like completely blown away by aside from the Taylor Swift. So what I decided for my music pick of the week this week is I'm doing a throwback, and actually it's perfect because yesterday Vertical Horizon's Everything You Want album from 1999 celebrated its 20th anniversary.
It's insane.
God, do I feel old.
Yeah, when you posted that, I went, well, crap. That's not the word I use, but I'm going to censor myself a little.
Yeah, this was a fantastic album. This was the album that I assume a lot of other people fell in love with them. Matt Scannell has such a great voice. It's especially perfect for like the alt rock, pop rock genre, which is what I categorize this album as. Yeah, it was such a great album. So my favorite track off of it is Send It Up. I love that song. And then obviously like the hits were the title track, Everything You Want.
Who was in that music video?
You're a God.
Was it You're a God that was in that music? Like the music video for You're a God had someone really super famous in it, if I remember.
It did, and I can't remember who now. Was it? I don't know why. For some reason, Tiffany Amber Thiessen is coming to my mind.
That's what I thought it was too.
But maybe I'm wrong.
Sorry about that.
I don't know why that popped. That's okay. I don't know why she popped in my head for that. I think it might be though.
I think it is. Like I was thinking, it's one of them from those shows. I don't want to just play the video because then I'll have to listen to it, and then you'll have
You
to
could probably
listen.
Google it too.
That's what I'm trying to do. And I was like, then you guys would have to listen to it, and then we're gonna get demonetized, and we don't need that.
And then, so yeah, You're a God was one of the hits, obviously. Best I Ever Had, which then Gary Allan later turned into a country hit. That's a great song. And then I think Miracle was a single, but I'm not sure. Either way, it's a great song.
It is Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Okay. Well, kudos to me.
Which is crazy to think about.
Right?
That was 20 years ago. Saved by the Bell was on 10 years before it. Oh, God.
That's insane. I feel so old, guys, and of all weeks, too.
I'll add to that. She was great on White Collar. There we go. That makes me feel a little bit better.
But yeah, so that's my music pick of the week. If you have not heard that album, for some reason you lived under a rock for the last 20 years and didn't hear that album, I definitely recommend checking it out. I wish I had known when they were touring in honor of it, because I would have gone to see them in a heartbeat to hear that album in its entirety.
It's a great album.
It is. It's up there for me.
I'm one of those bands that I don't remember until I hear their songs, and then I'm like, oh yeah.
I still turn it up when I hear it on the radio.
That wasn't even their first album. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so I think this is their second album.
Third.
Oh my God.
Their first album came out, and get this, 1992.
Wow.
Yeah. 1992. All right.
I think I just assumed back at the time, this was their first album.
And they just made a new album last year.
They did. I tried to listen to it today. It's a little too different for me.
Oh. Yeah, it happens.
I know, it was disappointing.
It happens. I was just surprised they're still together. I know the bands from that era don't last.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's still the original lineup or not.
Oh, that's a good question. I was right there.
I just know Matt Scannell is still there, obviously the lead vocalist.
It is not the same.
The rest of the lineup.
Yeah, it's all changed.
Yeah, I kind of figured. But yeah, so then that'll move us into, all right, we're going to take a quick break after this commercial. We're going to come back and we're going to talk some music news on the road, and then Matt and I are going to talk Lakeshake. We're going to recap last year and this year's lineups. So stay tuned. All right, so we're moving on to our music news portion of the show. So I remember, I think it was last week or the week before, I had mentioned that Goo Goo Dolls announced that they were releasing their new album, The Miracle Pill, in September. And then, so on their Instagram this week, I want to say, they announced that The Miracle Pill is coming June 21st. So I'm thinking that's the title track, which is also going to be the first single. Otherwise, they jumped the gun really quickly and the whole album is coming next week, which I don't think is the case.
See, I'm a huge fan of the Goo Goo Dolls, but I've never heard of this album yet, so I feel kind of silly. You said it's the Magic Pill?
The Miracle Pill.
Miracle Pill. Is this a weight loss substance?
Same thing.
Okay. Because I want to buy that album if that's the case. If I drop 20 pounds, it's worth the investment.
No, so the way John Resnick explained it to, I forget what outlet was interviewing him, but it's basically I want to say it's a metaphor for something. I don't remember what. But yeah, no, I love the Goo Goo Dolls. They're one of my favorite bands, so I'm excited for new music from them. I know they've been teasing it on their Instagram with photos from the studio and everything, so it'll be interesting to see what the new direction that they're going in with for this time around. But so yeah, I'm assuming that the title track is what they're releasing next week and not the whole album, because in the interview Resnick did, he said that the whole album was going to be released in September.
I will say that Goo Goo Dolls is one of my absolute favorite concerts that I've ever been to in my entire life. And I went with my twin sister and my cousin, and I think that amplified the experience. But every song by them is fantastic. So yeah, I definitely am looking forward to that. 100%
agree. I've seen them twice now. Once was at Northerly Island, and then in Chicago. And then the other time was for the anniversary of Dizzy Up the Girl, and that was at the Chicago Theater, which was a phenomenal experience. But yeah, they're one of the best live bands I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I guess the biggest music news is Taylor Swift dropped on us that we get a new song from her tonight at midnight, and a new music video on the 17th, which is in just a few days. And then a new album, which is going to be called Lover, and August 23rd.
I'm so embarrassed.
Why?
Well,
Because you're excited?
okay. Well, no, because we had a thing, and like she's not over it, so like we're lovers. And anyways, I don't want to give it away, but you're gonna love the song. I'm sure of it.
Oh, Matt.
Can you hear me blushing? It's terrible. I know.
Yes, it's totally coming through the airwaves.
I figured.
And then, so this other piece of music news that I wanted to talk to you guys about, it's more of like a hot topic, I guess, technically. So I was scrolling through Instagram on my way home from work. I couldn't help but see Bobby Bones' Instagram, and he had posted a video of him, Haley Hammock, who is an up-and-coming country artist.
Love her.
Along with this other artist, Blanco Brown. And it's them doing this dance to Blanco Brown's song, The Get Up. And it's basically the next Old Town Road. And I'm not okay with this. I don't know. Oh, geez. I feel like, just like Old Town Road did, I feel like it's mocking country music. Like, it's not adding anything to it. It's not bringing anything to the table. It's not, I don't know. It's just not. I just feel like it's making a mockery of the genre.
I will say that, in my opinion, this particular song is about 5,000 times more country than what Old Town Road is.
Thank you.
So I will give it that.
Thank you. To me, what this song sounds like is a call from an old square dancing routine.
See, for me, it's square dancing, but for me, I kind of lean more towards the Cupid Shuffle. That's where I'm at.
The Cupid Shuffle of country, because
that's it.
Yeah.
But
so, to you guys, like, what makes it country to you?
Well, for the way he's singing the song itself, I think there's a lot of country inflection in his voice.
He has a huge love for country music. I actually read an interview after you sent me the link.
And I did a little bit of research on it as well, not necessarily looking up articles, but I did two things, and they kind of split me both separate directions.
Oh,
that's the fun thing.
It's tough. I am in pain right now because I don't know which way to go. Because, obviously keeping the genre and keeping it intact in the sense of, where we came from, what traditional country is, obviously, but also keeping an open mind to what the future may hold.
Right.
Keeping those things both in mind, we had one of the pieces of research that I did was looking up the other music that he's recorded.
Okay.
And he's got this 4-song EP that was released on May 31st. And
okay.
One of the songs, Ghetto Memories, it's like ghetto, but it's GHETT and then OL Memories. And for me, I actually think it's a pretty great song. I didn't get to listen to the rest of the songs, but I wanted to check and see, is this a guy that is normally doing rap music or hip hop music and then deciding he wants to release one song just like Lil Nas X and then call it good? Well, in this case, to me, this EP kind of shows me that he's not. And Ghetto Memories actually has some really good lyrics in it.
Agreed.
Talking about how he grew up and stuff. So for me, I'm vested in that side of things. And I'm like, you know what? That is fantastic. On the other side, it is so produced with auto-tune. And I can't say that takes away from it being country or not. I just, as a personal fan of country music and raw talent, this to me doesn't showcase that. And I even my other piece of research was looking on YouTube, looking for acoustic performances of any of the songs. And I could not find that. And for me, if you want to be a legitimate talent that is trying to break through on mainstream, you got to cut your teeth. You got to put your time in. You have to perform these songs acoustic and show that you are worthy in a way of being vested in for our format. And
yeah, I agree.
This doesn't showcase that for me. And so I like the song. I think it's catchy.
He's a one-hit wonder.
It's a one-hit wonder. That's the best way we could say it, Rich. Absolutely.
So for me, I think the problem came, and granted, I didn't do as much research as you guys did. It was kind of I was in a mood when I saw it, and it just kind of hit me at the wrong time, I guess. and it kind of got me going. Like, I kind of feel like because of the lyrics and it's obviously like like an instructional dance kind of song, just like you guys said, like Cupid Shuffle, or anything that came before that. What was it, the Cha Cha Slide and all that stuff?
Yep.
So I feel like because the lyrics, it was basically, and like if you watch the video of like how they're doing the dance, I feel like they're mocking, like, again, it has to do with horses and getting up on a horse, and I don't know, I just feel like the way it's being done, it's taking what people think country music is about and the stereotype that goes along with that, and they're mocking it, like they're putting a spin on what they think country music is, and to me, that's just, I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way.
I can understand. I mean, I can totally understand that. I don't think that necessarily that was the intention maybe going into it, but again, who's to say other than Black Eyed Brown? But, it's one of those things that as an artist, what is your goal? Are you trying to make a good song, or are you trying to make something that is an earworm, that's going to be catchy? And people are going to remember that. And here's my thing, is if it brings more people into the country music format and is good music and the artist has potential for longevity, I'm all about that life. Bring it on in. But you have to be true and understand the history of country music, the others that came before you, and you have to not be disrespectful towards them, in my opinion, because they built what we have and what we listen to. Even if terrestrial radio, is something where you're hearing a lot more pop country music. You know what? It still came from the same place. And Thomas Rhett, as an example, you know what? He has some real country songs. He's got some real pop songs. But I tell you what, there's artists like him that dance on that fringe that still respect the hell out of country music and what it is all about.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. And I think that's the thing, is like, if you're going to bring fans to the genre with this kind of song, I want them to be, and I don't mean to say this, like, I don't mean to sound like a music snob when I say this, but I don't want them to be the wrong kind of fans. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need more people who are in it just because they think it's popular, they think it's cool right now to like country music, because they think that country music is just this, drinking around a bonfire and, tailgating kind of lifestyle, because that's not all it is. Like, you don't have to grow up in a small town to know what the lifestyle is about. Like, there's a lot more to it. Like you said, like, it has to do with values, and, it just goes back to the heart of country music and how the genre started.
If you're somebody who doesn't understand I will say I don't want to say severity, because that makes it sound like a negative way, but it's an incredibly positive thing. Mm-hmm. The opportunity, like Luke Combs, to be inducted into the Grand Ole Opry, be welcomed into that family. If you don't understand the intensity of what that is, you should not be in our format, hands down.
Yeah, I agree.
So things like that, and the Saturday night cowboy hat wearers,
right.
That is a frustration for me as well. Just because you put flannel does not make you country. I am sorry.
Right, and like the same thing, like the people who only put flannel on when they're going to a country concert, the people who only wear cowboy boots when they're going to a country concert.
I think they have a term called posers for that one. I think that's what it is, right?
That's exactly what it is. But you actually brought me up to my next piece of music news, which is Luke Combs has been inducted into the Grand Ole Opry as its newest member. And if you watch the video with his reaction, it was really kind of priceless. Like, it was so emotional and just very genuine. And I think it was well deserved.
I 1000%. Here is the reaction I think that he posted on Instagram was the part that got me. That's like, this guy, like, we thought he was a really cool guy to begin with, but when he was backstage and Craig Morgan came out and Chris Jansen, they're like, hey, we want to sing a song with you. He thought to himself, he goes, oh, this is the kind of situation where people get inducted, but he didn't think anything. He legitimately thought they were just there to come out and sing with him. And then, you have that situation where it happens and you break down in tears. And he said he didn't think that was the case, that was going to happen, because he doesn't feel he deserves it.
Yeah.
But I think he is a true testament to what country music can be. We talked the last time I was on here about, taking chances on artists. And 3 years ago, people didn't really know who Luke Combs is or was. But we took country radio, country streaming, and fans will, I don't want to say necessarily be the reason why he got inducted. He worked his ass off. He did it on his own. But the point is the fact that 3 years ago nobody knew who he was, and now he's got 6 number ones, and now
Which
he's
is crazy.
a member of the Grand Ole Opry. Yeah, it's just 3 years makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it really does. And it goes to like it really says something about his craft, and just like you said, how hard he's worked for it.
100%.
So I think that's all the music news I've got right now. Unless you guys have something else to add for music news.
What's the dress code for this, by the way? What are we supposed to be
for
the podcast? What are we supposed to be wearing?
Every show is different.
Okay. Where are we at today? How are we feeling today?
I'm personally always in my pajamas. Just saying. Some other people don't like to wear pants.
I'm wearing Daisy Dukes.
That's cute. Well, if we're wearing pajamas, I'm right on track, but we might have a different definition of pajamas. And I'm sorry for my neighbors.
Your neighbors?
Yeah, the window's open.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm waving at them across the road. Hi, guys.
Across the road. Is that your closest neighbor?
Well, kind of. There's a driveway that goes right by, so every time I'm sitting on my porch swing and they're driving by, I feel awkward because I know like 2 of them, but they've got like 2 houses because the guy that used to own the property before built 2 houses up top and rents one to his family. Anyways, I don't know who they are. I just know him, and he's a great guy. And I don't know whether to wave at them or not. But then I've got neighbors like directly across the road, the main road, and I feel bad for them because you would not be able to count on 2 hands and your toes how many times I walked out of my boxers, whether I'm taking the trash out or running in my truck to grab something. I feel so bad for them.
Are you that guy that runs out in your boxers but has your cowboy boots on?
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. Here's my thing is sometimes I'll even Winnie the Pooh it. There you go. T-shirt, boots, but there ain't no pants. Sorry, guys. My bad.
Oh, my God. How small of a town do you live in?
I don't know. I'm between 2 towns. So honestly, I don't even know what the population of Berrien Springs is, but I'm technically on there, but I'm on the outskirts between Berrien Springs and Niles, which is like the southernmost town of Michigan, right before you get into Indiana.
Interesting.
I'm going to look up the population now just because we've just brought that up.
Niles has 11,208 people.
All right. Berrien Springs has 1,700. There you go.
Wow. And meanwhile, over here in Chicago, we're the 3rd largest city in the country.
There you go.
Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, guys, sometimes I wish I grew up in a small town.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You remember that dial-up conversation we had before you started the podcast? No, you don't.
That's true.
It was pretty. I love it. I wouldn't have traded mine. My thing is like I got to go and ride like go-karts out on the farm, and the go-kart was not something we bought from a store. That was something my grandpa welded together and took a lawnmower engine and put on the back of it. Dude, I used to whip shitties like something like nobody's business, man. It was awesome.
See, for me, like I didn't grow up in a small town, obviously, but my dad did. So I get like growing up, like all I've heard about is farm life. He grew up literally on a farm outside of Columbus, Ohio.
Oh yeah. God, Ohio. Ugh. What a terrible state. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But seriously, being from Wisconsin, I've got a real beef with Ohio State.
Oh yeah, he's a Buckeyes fan.
Yeah, I don't like your dad. I'm sorry. Just kidding.
I'm assuming you're a Badgers fan?
Hell yeah, go Bucky. Yeah.
I went to college. I had a really good friend in college who was from, I want to say Madison, Wisconsin, but I could be wrong. And she was a Badgers fan.
There you go. I lived in Madison for a little bit, and I was a Badger fan, obviously, all my life, too, but being right there and being able to go down during tailgates for football games and that kind of stuff, it just makes you appreciate it a lot more when you're actually there and you live in the community. It's cool.
So that kind of segues us into our feature segment for tonight, which is we're going to be recapping last year's Lakeshake 2018 and then previewing this year's Lakeshake. So for those of you who don't know, Windy City Lakeshake is basically bringing the best of country music, for the most part, to a big city like Chicago in a huge way. It takes place on the lakefront at a place called Northerly Island, and it's a gorgeous setting for it. It really is, and it's huge. Literally, some of the biggest acts in country music are usually the headliners, and then we always have the best in new and up-and-coming country music there as well, thanks to the Next from Nashville stage. And yeah, so both Matt and I were there last year for Lakeshake, although I don't know how much you actually got to see of the performances.
That's a hard thing, is everybody's like, oh, you get to go to all these music festivals? I'm like, yeah, but I don't get to see a lot of the artists because I'm busy. You know, we schedule interviews, and when artists are not on stage, that's what they're doing, is they're working on, working with media and trying to get interviews, get their name out there, expand their brand and stuff. So
right.
I got to dip out a little bit. I saw you and your brother out there a little bit for some of the shows, and try to catch as many as I could from the Next from Nashville, because I love that stage so much. I really, really do. And I'm excited about the Faster Horses Festival too, because it's the same Live Nation company that puts on both festivals, but they've got a really great lineup this year too.
Yeah, and I think another festival that does the Next from Nashville stage is the I just saw it advertised today. No, not Tortuga. Something with a W, Watershed.
Oh yeah, Watershed. Yeah.
Yes, because I saw that one of the artists, well, probably I'm sure a couple of them, who are playing the Next from Nashville stage at Lakeshake this year are going to be at the Next from Nashville stage at Watershed Festival as well.
Yeah, and so I was really disappointed when they announced the Chicago one that they didn't include the band Everett.
Okay.
But they did include them in Faster Horses. I'm such a huge fan of these guys that they're just, honest to God, they're two of the most talented guys, and they had a really great EP, and if you have not heard the EP, I strongly recommend that you do take a listen to it, because I think it's almost a year old. It's actually a year to the day today that their music video came out for Slow Roll. But yeah, Anthony and Brent are they're good, freaking good people, man. Can't tell enough good things about those guys.
And that's what's awesome, is that when you do get to meet these artists and they're just genuinely good people, it just makes the experience even better, and it makes you love their music even more.
1000%. Absolutely.
Another artist who was up and coming and who played the Next from Nashville stage last year at Lakeshake, who you actually told me about, and then when I went back and listened to his music, it was really good, was Jameson Rogers.
Okay, so what are you doing on August 3rd?
On August 3rd, I am not doing anything that I know of, unless it's a weeknight, and then I'm home.
That's a Saturday, so block that date on your calendar and come over here, come to us. We got Jameson and Tyler Rich playing our festival that we're putting on. Yeah, absolutely. So you can come and hang out, see that show, and obviously no worries about anything. We'll take care of the getting your passes into the show and all that stuff. But it's right on Lake Michigan. It's awesome. But Jameson Rogers is seriously one of the most underrated talents, but he is about ready to blow up big. He is getting ready to, I think his song just impacted radio this week or on Monday. I know Cale Dodds is impacting on Monday, one of the 2 days. But he's going to blow up big. He's opening for Luke Combs, who we just talked about a little bit ago, right?
Right. Yep. His single "Some Girls Do," which I love, is, I think he said it was like last week when they pushed it to radio. Yeah,
and this song, I've known this song obviously since before last year too, just based off of streaming, and he didn't have a record label at that point, and now obviously since the streams and since the song is obviously so good, they are finally starting to recognize. They signed him and are going to be pushing him, and it's a damn good song though. It'll get you singing.
For sure. He's got such a great sound too.
Yeah, I recommend too. He's got a couple other songs too that I think are really good. Cold Case, one of my favorites from him. And I'm gonna nerd out just for a second because I just love clever play on words. That Cold Case, he gets home from work and all of his girlfriend's stuff is out of the house and she's gone. Just like a mystery of like, where did she go? So it's kind of like one of those things that is a cold case, but he's getting through it by drinking a bunch of beer.
A cold case of beer,
so he's working on a cold case. So the double entendre there is unbelievably clever, in my opinion.
That is really clever. I love that.
And, he's got Missing One too, which is another really, really good song too. So I'm a fan of his completely.
Another artist that's starting to blow up a little bit more is another one of our Next from Nashville stage artists from last year, Adam Doliak, who's also got a fantastic sound about him.
He is such a cool guy. And I mentioned my go-kart a little bit ago. So he and I actually talked about our go-karts because a music video that he released that was about his parents, about I think it was, what was it? Mom and Daddy's Money was the name of the song. But the video itself was made up of some home footage, and it started out with him on a go-kart.
That's awesome.
That was the first scene. And I said, dude, I swear to God, we grew up in the same place. You might be my brother. And that's how similar it looked. And he honestly, Puzzle of Us and Famous, two other really, really good songs that he released in the past year too.
Yes, Bigger Than Us is such an amazing song. I absolutely love that song. And Famous, I liked it when I first heard it, but then I kind of put it on the back burner, and now I'm starting to hear it a lot more on the highway because it was number 1 on their countdown. Yeah. And it's really starting to grow on me, and so now I really kind of love it. But yeah, I hope mainstream gets a hold of him.
I hope that once that starts to take off a little bit, mainstream does. I really hope that they do circle back around to Bigger Than Us, because I think personally that's the strongest song that I've heard from him.
Yeah.
Besides Mom and Daddy's Money, that's another just a solid song. But between Famous and Puzzle of Us, I really do think that that Bigger Than Us is a big song for him.
Yeah, for sure. He's, like you said, he's such a great guy too. I got the chance to talk to him, and I know you did too, at Lakeshake last year, and just such a genuinely nice guy. Definitely.
Yeah, he is just a talent and humble as can be. So let's hope that once he does blow up big, because I've got faith that he will, as long as he keeps focusing and pursuing and pushing, that he stays that way. Because it's hard, man. It is hard.
Yeah.
Once you get to be that point, you're pulled in so many more directions. It's hard not to get, I don't want to say bitter, but kind of bitter in a way that, because everybody wants a piece of you, everybody wants to talk to you and all that kind of stuff, and it's tough to deal with, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And you definitely see that with some of these artists, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you look at other artists. I don't want to speak ill because it's not an ill statement by any means, but Drake White, you've got Tucker Beathard, you've got these other artists, which Tucker just got re-signed, William Michael Morgan, and they're all genuinely nice guys. But the industry, once you get into it and you start having a little bit of success, it changes you. And some people don't like that change, and that's with those three in particular. They did not care for it, and they wanted to go a little bit more to themselves and be who they are. And more power to them for being able to do that.
Yeah. One of the things I love about the Next from Nashville stage is it really hones in on the artists that are going to be the next big thing to blow up, because, last year we had Adam Doliak, Tyler Rich, Mitchell Tenpenny, Dylan Carmichael, Delta Ray, Jameson Rogers, Charlie Worsham, Muscadine Bloodline, Morgan Evans, and John Langston. Now, you look at that list, and all of them are doing fantastic now, a year later.
Yeah, not necessarily, chart success, but, stream success, tour success. I mean, John Langston, for instance, I mentioned the Faster Horses Music Festival, not that I'm trying to cross-promote or anything like that, but again, same company, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I had the opportunity to talk with John last year, and it was right before he got signed with Luke's label, Luke's Imprint. And I talked to him and I said, man, I'm impressed, with his songwriting, his style, his vocals, and, the fact that not more than maybe 2 months later, he pens a deal with Luke Bryan. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, and then goes out on tour with him. That's huge.
Huge, yes.
And John is one of those guys too. Again, he's one of them that you can just sit there and talk with and have a good time. And then when you leave, you can put on, When It Comes to Loving You, and you're just like, man, this is just a jam. This is such a good, it's a sexy jam is what it is.
Yeah. And Dance Tonight is a really great song too. I fell in love with that song right away.
Absolutely.
And then same thing with Morgan Evans. He blew up. I mean, he was already we kind of knew that was going to happen, but I mean, this year he's going to be on the main stage. Not to jump ahead, but
no, 100%. And I think that it's a testament to, obviously, to how he's worked so hard. But it's kind of an interesting Australian invasion, if you will,
Yes.
of American country, with obviously Morgan and Keith Urban, two of the big ones. But the other group, Seaforth, that is starting to break through a little bit, and they obviously are extremely talented as well too. So it's just kind of an interesting place for us that you wouldn't normally think, oh, Australia's full of country. No, it is. It 100% is.
You know who really surprised me last year and the Next from Nashville stage was Dylan.
Oh.
I didn't actually get a chance to see him. There was most of the acts on the Next from Nashville stage last year. I didn't get to see all of them because of going back and forth from the stages and doing just being back, with the press tent and everything. You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
But Dylan Carmichael,
one of the nicest guys in the world too.
Yeah, very nice. Has such a traditional sound about him. Great songs. And I mean, I think it was not long after that when he really started to get some attention.
Totally. I would say not necessarily just traditional, but traditional with a modern flair too.
Yeah.
And I think that might just be with the arrangement of the music, but the guy's voice is just ridiculous. Dancing Away with My Heart, probably the song that I heard from him. I was a little bit late to the party. He opened for Gary Allen in South Bend or Mishawaka.
Okay.
One of the two. And he was opening and I didn't know his name and I just wasn't really very familiar with him. And I'm just like, we can miss it. And then, 3 months later I hear Dancing Away with My Heart. I'm like, God damn it. How did I miss that? I could have saw that. And then I end up running into him. I was in Memphis for St. Jude, ran into him there, standing in line with him for one of the events, and got to chat with him there. And then I saw him again at Nashville 3 weeks later at CRS. And I'm like, God, you're literally taunting me right now, saying, you idiot, why did you not see him live? You had the chance.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I'm remorseful to the fact that I had an opportunity and I blew it.
Tyler Rich, I love his new song, Leave Her Wild.
Yep. The opportunity that we had to chat with him last year, and immediately within the first 60 seconds of having our conversation, I knew that he was going to be, and he is going to be a big star. His personality, and I will say, for the ladies, he's not hard to look at. People say we look a lot alike. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you're Tyler." I'm like, "No, I'm Matt." Guys, stop it. Taylor Swift, quit it. But the talent with songwriting, his connections already in the industry, and he's a pretty good singer. And again, going back to the Lil Nas X and Blanco, whatever the hell his name is, I forgot his name. That guy. Playing acoustic. Tyler's a guy that can play acoustic and still keep singing as good as he does on the record. And his cover of Billie Jean and all these other, I guess, showcases that he has when it comes to his career. This guy's going to be a big star, and that's why I'm glad that we got him for our Summer Jam concert. I literally sent an email, said we need to get this guy. So,
I remember meeting him a couple years ago at Joe's on Weave Street when he was opening for Dustin Lynch.
Yeah.
And I still have my picture with him somewhere in my phone. But such a nice guy, like just genuine. And he actually told the best story about being a kid and growing up watching Pure Country.
Oh yeah.
And it was just so cool, like hearing him talk about that. And I mean, that was a movie I grew up on, so just like you said, just a really great guy, very talented. So yeah, it'll be cool to see him go further.
Okay, difficult question for you right now. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
All right. Who's got the better smile, Dustin Lynch or Tyler Rich?
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna go Tyler Rich.
I'm going to go ahead and this is weird for me to say it, but I think you're right. I do. I think that he's just, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit more, nothing against Dustin. I mean, whatever. Right. He's got a good set of teeth on him, but I don't know. Yeah. It's weird. Why am I talking about this? Why am I giving my input? This is a question for you. I'm making it weird.
No, you're not making it weird. But that wasn't the question I was expecting from you.
Okay. What was the question you were expecting?
I don't know, but it wasn't that. It
Okay.
wasn't that.
What is the meaning of life? How's that? Is that a better one?
42.
Oh, no.
42 is right. Rich, I'm so glad you're still here, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm making it weird for you, too.
Oh, no. Rich is used to weird.
No,
Okay.
that's a mantra. We're all right.
Perfect.
Oh, man. So I think we pretty much covered the Next from Nashville stage from last year. So as that knew Tracy Lawrence or his music, I kind of felt bad for him.
That's the again. That's the issue. I love the festival. I love Chicago, but that's the thing is like Chicago is not a really traditional country city.
Well, it depends, to be honest with you, because now you get somebody who it depends on the song, I guess, because I've seen a sold out crowd at both Joe's Live and Joe's Joe's on Wheat Street seeing, George Strait, Check Yes or No, back to an artist who was covering the song. I've seen them sing along to David Lee Murphy's Dust on the Bottle. Obviously, Friends in Low Places, you have to live under a rock to not know the words to that song.
Yeah, I'm going to pause you for a second because I agree with you. There's those songs and that's what those artists, but they're newer artists that are performing those songs. If you look at like a catalog from those artists, Tracy Lawrence, is a great example. I mean, this guy's a legend in country music, and people, the audience, going to see him at Joe's, which is one of my absolute favorite places in the world, and they've got a great staff. It's different when you're, selling out to a 3,000, seat venue to a large music festival. And that's how you can showcase, who are the dedicated fans, because Joe's, when they have a show like that, will bring people from 8 hours away to go see that particular artist. But you get to a music festival like this, chances are they're not going to travel 8 hours to go to this festival to go and see Tracy Lawrence. And I'll use Ashley McBryde as an example of that too. I love Ashley McBryde, and I had friends when she was playing at Joe's Live that were going to make their way down, despite their kids playing in like a basketball tournament or something. They were going to make the trip down to go and see Ashley at Joe's Live in Rosemont, and it was a plan of ours to get together, and they're going to do that. But could I say the same thing that when Ashley was playing at Lakeshake Festival, or when she
was that Smoke Out?
Or it was Smoke Out, Smoke Out. I mean. The chances, no, it's not going to happen. They're not. It's not even on their radar.
So why do you think that is? That they'll come to a small venue in Chicago, but not a major festival?
Ticket prices. I would say ticket prices. I think the length of time that the artist is on stage, hotel cost. It's a big thing. If you're going to be a fan of an artist and you want to go and see them, there's something to be said with obviously having a large lineup of artists that you're familiar with, but people pick these artists that they're passionate about and extremely passionate about, and they will spend money, they will travel those distances for those artists. But if it's something where they have split time and there's a lot more cost incurred, they're not going to do it, especially if you think about 4 people, the price difference of $20 to go to Joe's versus $125 for Lakeshake. There's a big difference for 4 people there.
That's true. Yeah, I can understand that. So I felt bad for Tracy Lawrence. I mean, he handled it well, but I just, you feel bad because, like you said, he is a legend in the genre, and to come out and play a festival in between all of these newer acts and nobody really knows even your hit song, which was obviously "Paint Me a Birmingham." Yeah, it was just it was kind of disappointing.
Oh, what a great song! Oh, so good. But I think in one side, he's a little bit disappointed. He's known that he's not a mainstream current artist.
Yeah.
With songs out right now, I don't think it's any secret. But I think that as long as he got paid, he'll be able to wipe away the tears with the money that he from the check that he cashed. I think it's okay.
Yeah. Another act that played Friday night was Low Cash, and they're awesome live.
They are, out of everybody in the industry, those are 2 of my only, I can actually say they're friends of mine.
Really?
I've got their number on my phone. I can text them.
That's awesome.
Right now. It's funny because I've known those guys since they were Low Cash Cowboys, and I hate saying that too because everybody says, "Oh, it's just a Low Cash Cowboy," but legitimately, I've known them since before they ever had a record deal or It just got a publishing deal, and they were super excited because they got to play on like TNA wrestling during one of their pay-per-view events or something. Is like an opening.
So fun story about that. I actually got them booked in our hometown because I was working radio and saw that performance at the TNA wrestling pay-per-view.
Yeah, there you go. So you and me both, Rich.
Yeah, those guys are awesome.
Well, what the hell?
They're fantastic. Here's my thing too: is with those guys, they've seen me at my absolute best, and they've made me at my absolute worst due to alcohol. They've got me so.
Yep.
Okay. So we had them in Onalaska, Wisconsin, and I went to the show, me and some friends and whatever, and caught up with them and said, "Hey guys, what's going on?" They're like, "Oh, let's hang out. Let's do some shots, do some party." And we did, and got to the point where they're like, "Oh man, we got a show in Rochester, Minnesota tomorrow. You should just hang out with us, ride on the bus, and go there." Okay, let's do that.
Oh my God.
So I got all pissed up on Cherry Doctor shots. I don't even know what the cherry bombs. That's what they're called, and beer. And my buddy was with me, and we both got on the bus. I slept in one of the bunks. He slept in the way back in the kind of community room. And Lefty Biggs, who was their guitarist at the time, got on the bus and went to the back and saw my buddy, but didn't know who he was. Like, they knew who I was, but he didn't know who he was. I'm like, are you supposed to be here? Like, yeah, that's fine. And so it was just kind of a funny, like, okay, who the hell's this guy, random guy that's on the bus?
Yeah.
And, anyway, so on our way to Rochester, I'm kind of mixing up two different stories into one, but on our way to Rochester, I woke up, sat in the kitchen area of the tour bus, noticed that I had my white shirt on, and I had like red streaks from where the Cherry Doctor did go in my mouth. So we had to stop.
I'm trying to picture you like this, this massive party animal, and it's just not coming to my head.
It's been a long time. I've grown up so much thanks to my ex-girlfriend had a lot to do with that. So I'm very appreciative in that way. But I was a lot of fun. Let's just say that. Used to be. Anyway, so they're huge coffee guys. And so we had to stop at this Target that had coffee at Starbucks involved. And I had to go and buy a new shirt. So it was a bad day.
That's quite a story.
Yeah. Anyways. Oh,
so
look!
If anyone ever wants to take advantage of Matt, just buy him some cherry shots or cherry bombs, whatever.
Cherry bombs and beer usually do the trick, or Jameson. Just give me Jameson, and then we'll be happy about it.
Oh man! Another artist on the stage Friday last year was Raylyn, and I felt bad because she was clearly having some technical problems with her sound, but yeah. She didn't let her stop her. She put on a good show still, regardless. Debuted a new song at that time, Tailgate, which she wrote with the guys from Florida Georgia Line, Tyler and
Brian.
Brian, thank you. But yeah, she's, I've seen her open for Blake Shelton before on his tour a couple years ago, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And she's a good performer. She's got a lot of talent, and I think it'll be interesting to see what more we get from her.
I will say that I agree. In my opinion, I don't think Tailgate was a very great song.
No.
I think Lonely Call was a fantastic song. Yeah. That was an absolute miss. Yep. Absolute miss by our industry. So I'm disappointed in that aspect of it. I can't say that I know her too awfully well. I had an interview scheduled with her last year, and it fell through because of severe weather. But I did an interview with her on the phone and got to know her a little bit, through that. And I just don't know about her personality-wise, because the impression that I got through our conversation was not very strong. Unfortunately, it was kind of, I don't want to say resentful, but overly confident. Maybe is a nice way to say arrogant.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know, but again, that just could have been. Artists have days.
Right.
They're like everybody else, so I don't want to make that be the lasting impression that I have. I think she's a fantastic singer, and I think she's very good at songwriting. Again, Lonely Call is a fantastic song.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. So obviously the last two artists of the night on Friday last year were also the best performers of the day, Lee Brice and Blake Shelton. Mm-hmm. So Lee Brice, I thought that was one of his best performances. He was absolutely awesome.
He was so energetic too.
Yes, so energetic. Totally got the party going and just kept energy up the whole time. Even when he does, obviously most of his songs are slower songs. Even when he does those, like he still like captures the audience in a way that you don't see many artists able to do.
Yeah. Well, even like songs like I Don't Dance, and he strips it down and Isaac is so passionate about it. And he is one of those performers that you can see 100 times and not get sick of seeing him.
Absolutely.
I'm a huge fan. I love the fact that when he did the parking lot party song and he brought the I'm not going to say their names, but the former two radio hosts of Chicago brought those two guys out, and it was
without that part, to be honest with you.
Well, the two guys did a terrible job.
Yes.
Right? But I love the fact that
he brought him out.
That he did it. And that's the win I take out of it, is it was fun for him. He wasn't taking that song. It was making it an actual party on stage, which in turn transferred to the crowd, and that energy transfer between crowd and artist is so strong in that particular moment with them on stage last year. It was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think for those two in particular, it definitely went to their head. But
I'm not a fan of those two anyways.
No. I think we talked about this last year at Lakeshake.
Yeah. Yep. I think you're right.
But and then obviously, Blake Shelton can do no wrong. He's always an amazing performer. And my favorite part was he comes out, obviously with his cup in hand, and he says, "Blake Shake!" He yells it. And then he says, "I've been waiting 6 months to say that." I was dying. That was the best part of the night for me.
He has some really, really good ad-lib moments. He really, really does. Love Blake, and I think, again, he's one of those artists that you can see him, and when he sings his songs, he is so good. The sad part that I have with Blake is it's the same show every time you go and see him, with some of the things that he does and says. When he does Some Beach, he does the same part every time, and it's been the same for 8 years.
Yeah.
But again, if you have never seen him before, you love it. And I am still a hardcore Blake Shelton fan, especially now that he's released God's Country, and that is almost the #1 song, and it's a breath of fresh air when it comes to Blake Shelton music.
I feel like, is it just me, or did God's Country move up the chart really fast?
Oh, it flew. It flew up the charts because everybody. I mean, here's my thing: is I usually wait when a song is released, especially from a new artist like Blake. I kind of have this inkling that you got to kind of add it to your rotation. Again, I will preface this by saying I'm different than other artists or other other radio stations when it comes to these artists.
Yep.
But I still take into account, and I usually take a week or two and see, because the first day that it comes out, the first week, it's going to be inflated, from the playlists from all the stations, because everybody wants to be the first station to play it. So you got to wait a couple of weeks to actually see what it is, and it's a mediocre song or whatever. But God's Country was that song I heard for the first time, and I said, we're adding this song immediately, and we'll put it in rotation because it's that strong. And I've never heard anybody say that they do not like the song. So it's a lot better than his previous releases, in my opinion, of Honeybee and Honeybee and these other songs that All Name the Dogs and. That are just, they're, I don't want to say necessarily cliche, but these songs that are pandering, if you will, to the audience, versus God's Country is literally how I was raised,
Right,
in a sense. So it was refreshing.
For me personally, I don't know if it's just because I'm a female and that it kind of is a little bit different, but I mean, I love songs like, I'll Name the Dogs and Honeybee and all of his more romantic songs. I love those, but I do agree with you. God's Country definitely it came out he really came out swinging with this song. He tried something a little bit different, a little more bold, darker, and it really works for him. And like I said earlier, I didn't grow up on a farm, but I mean, growing up with my dad, he did grow up on a farm, so I grew up hearing all those stories about what life is like, growing up in that kind of I was in that environment. So the things that he was saying just related to me on that aspect. So I love the song right away once I heard it. And I'm really interested in hearing what the rest of that album is going to sound like.
Me too. It kind of takes you back to the song "I Lived It" too. I mean, those songs, the story songs. What makes country music country? The stories are a lot of it. I asked my listeners, what are the aspects of country music that make a country? And the stories was the biggest thing. And that is a song that, in a way, tells a story, but also shares a characteristic of how we lived. As kind of out there as that kind of sounds, but it's true.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to Saturday's lineup, Jillian Jacqueline, who has had a pretty great couple years with both two EPs that she's had released, side A and side B, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But so she was really good when she performed. She was on the main stage, so that was nice to see. And her and her band had this kind of like retro vibe going. As far as like their outfits or whatever. But I mean, she put on an excellent performance. She brought the acoustic guitar to the front, all the way to the front of the platform. And she just sang her, and she didn't have to do anything fancy or anything extraordinary. She didn't have to have these like huge, pop type song, pop country type songs. She just sang what she does. And, I don't know. I think the fans were, related to it.
I think her song "Reasons" is unbelievably amazing. I think it's just one of those songs that is it's an anthemic song for anybody who's ever been in a relationship. That you're like, okay, is this a good thing or is this not a good thing? How do we call it quits? How do we end it?
Right.
But she's one of those, folk country artists, much like a Brandi Carlile, who is so talented. But is it her goal to make it mainstream country? I don't think so. I think
I don't think so either.
Is just focused on making damn good music, and she so far is very much done so.
Yeah, my favorite song by her is "God Bless This Mess."
Yes, yeah,
I absolutely love that song so much.
Yeah, she's just such a talent, honestly.
Yes.
So
a band that kind of surprised me was Lenko. So they came out in full force. They're really a great live band. Brandon is such a frontman, and he really showed that during their performance.
He definitely is. I have to say, with our interview, God dang it. Is it okay? Can I say not nice things about people? Is that okay on this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever want to bash somebody's art just because we don't like it. But
no.
You've heard me say before that I'm not a fan of people.
Yeah, it's not I am a fan of their music. I think they're great. The whole band is just genuinely, from the interview that we had, was really, really good. And this isn't, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything like that, but I felt like they brought the entire band to our interview. And when I went to go and ask questions to the rest of the band, because, as a person in a band and you got your one frontman and he's the only one answering questions, how boring is that? Right? So I asked questions to the entire band, and I just felt like he was put off by that and was not okay, because he's like, I'm the front man, I should be the one answering these questions. And I was not overly impressed with that aspect of it. But coming, music wise, I am a fan of their music. I think their new song is a good song. I actually enjoy it. I can't even think of the name of it right now.
Rival.
That's it. I actually really like that song. I think it's a fun song because I think it's good for do I think it's, pure country? No, but I do think that it is something that is kind of a fun song for people and gets them going like, hey, if you're not with us, you're a rival. That's it. Bye.
Was Rival on the debut album? Because I don't remember.
No, that's off of their upcoming album, I believe.
So there was quite a few other songs that were actually pretty good off of the debut album. Why did they not go release more singles off of that?
Generally speaking, when it comes to albums, you get 3 singles usually speaking. And, Greatest Love Story, Born to Love You. And then I think those were the only 2 that they got. And I don't know, maybe it was just because they were anxious and maybe the label wanted them to, go a different direction or, release some new music. But I don't know, man. It seemed weird because,
Greatest Love Story was technically off the EP that came before the debut album.
Yeah, there's the songs that are so good off of the EP that you have to include them on the album. Luke Combs is a perfect example of that, where he release some songs off of his EP, and then they're like, okay, we need you to make an album. Let's throw 2 of those songs on there. So,
yeah. Billy Currington was excellent. He's so much fun to see live. I know Rich had a bad experience when he saw him open up for Rascal Flatts.
He just stands in one spot, and it bored me.
That what happened? Like him though at Lakeshake.
He just stand in one spot the whole time.
Oh yeah, he was probably stoned. Like he probably was. Hey, you know what? It's legal in Michigan. Do your thing, brother. I tell you what, he is a good dude. He really is a nice guy. And again, I've only had the opportunity to have a brief interaction with him. He doesn't really do a whole lot of interviews, but he's a cool dude and was very, very chill with the interaction that we had. So I'm a fan of his and his music.
Yeah, he did some good covers too at Lakeshake. Mm-hmm. I know he covered what's that song by Walk the Moon? Shut Up and Dance.
Oh yeah.
I think he covered.
Billy was one I didn't get to see, so.
Oh, okay.
I got to see him at Faster Horses.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed his performance. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was nice to see him because he doesn't do a lot of tours anymore. So it was really cool to see him live.
Yeah, the festival scene, not exactly his. He just announced a show in Grand Rapids too, which is interesting. That he's doing it at the venue. He's doing it an equivalent to Joe's Live.
Okay.
Instead of doing like I don't want to say United Arena because I don't think that he's at that point really able to fill up the arena like that. But it's just kind of interesting that he's going that route now.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see if he releases another big hit.
But you know what? I'll admit when you see him live, he's got a lot more hits than what you remember.
Oh my God! Oh, he's got an encyclopedia worth of hits.
Yeah, and you almost forget about some of them until you hear him perform them live.
Yeah, and these I can't even remember what are some of the songs that he wrote too, because he's a pretty good songwriter too.
Oh geez,
I can't think of it right now too.
Yeah.
He's good. I just know that there's a couple songs that even when I get told again, they're like, "Oh yeah, he wrote this song." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Oh, that's awesome."
I love
those surprises.
I don't think I knew that about him.
Yeah. Yep.
The songwriting, because I know Sam Hunt wrote his for Billy Currington wrote "We Are Tonight." Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's such a good talent though. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the headliner for Saturday night was Dierks Bentley, who I've seen Dierks a few times now, and every time he's always great. I love Dierks as a performer, as an artist in general. He was really good that night, but I felt like he was rushing through his performance, and I'm not sure why.
Probably because the festival's talking in his ear saying, "You need to hurry. You've only got this much time left." Mm. If you see him at a standalone concert in a venue, like I saw him on the last show of his tour in Grand Rapids, it was either the last one. No, it was the last one. Him and John Party's voice was shot. By the way.
Oh no!
But he is such a strong and hard worker that he pushed through. But Dierks left it all out on the stage, man. He is just unbelievable when it comes to performances. Yeah,
he definitely is. That's why it was kind of surprising that he was rushing through the Lakeshake performance. The other thing was, so he had just released before that, not that long before that, was his latest album, The Mountain. And I guess it didn't have time to sit with the fans long enough before they saw him at Lakeshake. So when he performed some of the new songs, with the exception of Woman Amen, the fans didn't really seem to connect with the new stuff then.
Yeah, it's hard. He has been working on the music. That's the tough thing with the artists. You put a new album out, you've known these songs, and you've been playing these songs for 3 months or 6 months, and you've been doing it on the road, and finally your album's able to come out. Even, years, for instance. There's some artists that have had songs for 12 years, and they finally decide, okay, this is the album I'm going to put it on because it fits. Yeah. But other people, have no idea, and they're just so excited to be able to play the music, and it's kind of like going and seeing a cover band, right? And they play 3 songs that do great covers, and all of a sudden they throw one of their originals in. It's like, whoa, the hell is this?
Is that what I signed up for?
Yeah, this is not anything by Madonna or whatever.
Madonna. I love that was the artist you threw out.
That was the one.
Not like, Def Leppard or something.
No, I had this conversation. We have got a local cover band, Hey Girl Hey. They do a great job, but they have a lot of original songs as well too. But they do those 80s pop kind of songs. That's. I literally had this conversation 2 hours ago. That's why Madonna was the first thing that came out.
I'm just trying to picture you like jamming out to some Madonna on your phone.
Like a virgin.
Oh, Matt.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. The listeners love you. I told you, the last episode we had you on was one of our most popular episodes. So.
Well, get ready for that to change. Just from that singing. Good.
Hey, if Rich's singing hasn't scared him away yet, I don't think yours will.
Rich, what's your Madonna song?
Oh, jeez. Probably Vogue, and I'm not doing that one. I just sang Moana on live. I just sang one of the songs from Moana.
Oh, wonderful. That is great. At least I'm not the only one, so thank you for making me feel like I fit in.
So then moving on to the last day of the festival last year, Sunday, Russell Dickerson was really more entertaining than I thought he was going to be.
Oh, yeah. Live, I saw him and, what the hell is her name? Carly Pierce. And Carly opened for him. No offense to Carly, but she was boring as hell on stage. I could not get into the show. I could not get into her show. But then Russell came out, and he just lit it up. It's insane. The energy that he has on stage and the interaction with the crowd and the fact that the crowd knows all of the songs.
Yeah.
I was so impressed. And that's a testament to him working his rear end off. The guy that I was with at the show, one of my coworkers, saw him back at La Crosse, Wisconsin. I'm going to throw a lot of Wisconsin but La Crosse, Wisconsin, and around that area, or maybe it was Mankato, Minnesota, one of the two. And we had the opportunity probably about 4 months ago to go and have a conversation with Russell again, and he brought this up, and Russell's like, "Yeah, man, that was like the last show where I was like, if this does not go well, if we don't have enough people here, if it's not a fun show, I'm done."
Oh, wow.
And it was a great show. And he ended up obviously continuing to pursue, and obviously it paid off. And he's a grind kind of guy, man. He is somebody who's put the work in and put the time in for sure.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with that. But I will say one thing. So I saw him at Joe's on Weed Street a few years ago. This was prior to even like the EP coming out. And he was a good performer. He had already had like a good a solid fan base going. And but the one thing I noticed then, and I noticed it again at Lakeshake, while he is definitely a performer, he's one of those artists now that he'll put his guitar on and he might play it for a little bit here and there. But it's mostly for show. Like he doesn't really play the guitar, and that's kind of disappointing. Like if you're not gonna play it, that's fine. Own being a performer, but if you're gonna play it, then play it. Like commit to it. I feel like.
Yeah, it's funny that there's. I'm not gonna say who it is, who they are, but it's funny that there's a lot of artists that are out there, and they are known for singers, but they get pushed into, okay, you need to play guitar as well. And that's the same thing as you'll see them strum 3 or 4 times, a couple they know the G, D, C, A, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, the music's still going and they're just having the guitar hang from their neck now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or they started, when they started their career, they started strong, with the acoustic guitar, and then gradually as they went on, they just kind of dropped the guitar almost completely, just because they wanted to focus more on being a performer. Right. Exactly. It's I will say part of the pop influence in my opinion. Definitely. Dylan Scott, he always puts on a great show, and he obviously, with the success of My Girl being a #1 hit, he had a lot of fans at Lakeshake. He's one of my newer favorite artists, and he was actually the first interview I did when I started writing for TBK. Sure. So it's been really cool to see him come up the way he has. Yeah. He his song Hooked, do you know the story behind that? somebody wrote, Morgan Evans wrote it for him.
Yes, but do you know why? Do you know what happened?
Oh, I heard Morgan Evans tell the story, but I don't remember now.
All right, so I will, because I think this is one of my favorite stories in country song history. It was Morgan running late to a songwriting session,
right?
And at that time, it had just kind of become public knowledge that he was dating Kelsey Ballerini, his now wife, my ex-girlfriend, and so it's a beautiful world I live in. By the way, you guys should really join sometime, but so he was running late, but at the time, again, that public knowledge came out. He gets to the songwriting session. I don't remember the other two songwriters for him, but they're pretty talented folks as well. Mm-hmm. But they said, you know what? We've got this really great idea for a song, all right? It is, it's going to kind of be like a comeback at Kelsey's song, Peter Pan, because that was the song at the time. And we were writing it like, Captain Hook, and da-da-da. And he gets in and he goes, that is a terrible idea. We're not doing that. And as the songwriting session continued, they went to and got the I guess semi version that we heard on the radio from Dylan Scott. Morgan actually included a couple more, vocal runs in his.
They're like woes or something.
Exactly. Yep. But we had him, the station I work for in Madison. We had him up there at our Storytellers jam. The last one we did in February, and he told that story, and I was just like, I was sitting in my chair, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, this is a fantastic story. Are you kidding? So good. But I appreciate the song a little bit more because of that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I heard him tell that story when he was at Joe's on Weed Street right after the release of his album, and it was for like US 99's whatever their it was like whatever special release thing that they do.
Album release party.
Yeah. But you talk about like just a great, like a super like genuinely like nice guy. Like he's so sweet. I think Kelsey hit the jackpot with him personally.
Well, I mean, let's not say things that are going to offend other people, other ex-boyfriends.
Sorry, Matt.
I'm right here. I can hear everything you're saying.
My bad.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a good dude. He genuinely is a good dude too.
Yeah, and it'll be super exciting to see him this year on the main stage. And then somebody who I almost missed somebody. After Dylan Scott was Chris Lane.
Chris is an interesting guy.
That's a good word for him. Is interesting. Because when his debut album came out, I was a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I liked the way he incorporated his boy band and R&B influences into making his own blend of country music.
Yeah, I think he's great, honestly.
Yeah, I enjoyed that first album a lot. And then I don't know if things got to his head a little bit or what he was doing. The second album was a flop, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it was good, and I haven't heard any songs on mainstream radio from it either, so I'm assuming I'm not the only one who thought it was a flop.
It's coming. The song is actually moving up. I think it's at 34 on the charts right now. And I will give you a full circle tie-in right here. The song, and so I agree. Fix, a great song. Chris had a really great first album. I definitely do think that there was some success that went to his head with that. And that aside, stage show, puts on a great stage show. But his second album, he has got a song that is, again, at like 34 or something on the charts that's called I Don't Know About You. And it's just a really great song, well written. It's a good play on words, but it was written by Jameson Rogers.
Oh.
Which, again, ties us back into the play on words with Cold Case and just the clever writing that Jameson has. It's a great song, though. It is so good.
So the first time I saw Chris Lane was at Joe's Live in... No, I lied. I believe I saw him... Wait, maybe. The first time I saw him, I think, was Joe's Live in Rosemont. And then, obviously, I saw him again at Lakeshake. And I feel like the first time I saw him was way better. When I saw him at Lakeshake, I wasn't super impressed.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's just because at that point it had all kind of gone to his head. And then he did this weird thing where he came out in this like 90s country outfit and he did a medley of songs. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. If he's gonna do it, I'd rather do it without the getup, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that adds to the appeal, and it tries to legitimize the performance a little bit more of the, Ronnie Dunn style shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But it is no Hot Country Nights performance,
no.
Which is exactly the same kind of deal as what they do, what Dirks does with that cast of buffoons, if you will.
Yeah, and I actually just saw, I think it was like an Instagram video not that long ago, like maybe like earlier this week, of somebody who saw Hot Country Nights. It might have been from somebody who was at CMA Fest, to be honest with you.
Sure, yeah. Playing at Dirks' bar.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Chris Lane's kind of, lately, it's been like kind of more of a miss than a hit for me lately.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes from that.
Change. I'll say that'll change probably in about 6 months. You'll hear, I don't know about you, a little bit more on mainstream, in my opinion. I think it's a great song. As Jameson continues to have success, that song will continue to have success just because of the tie.
Yeah.
And Chris's history, if you will.
Right. And then obviously after Chris was Cole Swindell, and he never disappoints. I know we actually watched his performance together.
Yes. I'm a fan of Cole. I think he is, again, a guy that put his time in. And when you have a story like his, starting as a merchandise guy, and you work your way up from the road, that's a big deal. And I will say, I've known some merchandise guys who are really creepy and weird. Cole is not one of those. He's a good dude.
I remember the first time I saw Cole, was Florida Georgia Line's. I'm sorry, it was Luke Bryan, Florida Georgia Line, and it was supposed to be Thompson Square. What's her name? Shauna got sick, so Luke brought Cole out to open to fill in for their spot, it was like that was when I had just like Chillin' It was on my radar, and then I had YouTube some of his other songs, like his older songs, which ended up on the debut album, and I was in love with him at that point.
Did they bring him out to play This Is How We Roll?
Yes.
Okay, good, because he wrote the song, so it's like, they got him on the bill. You might as well bring him out with Luke, and everybody sings. Right,
exactly. But yeah, so that was, and I think that like really like started to win fans over. And so by the time Chillin' It finally got to mainstream radio, he had already had a pretty good, solid fan base. And obviously it's only grown since then, given the success that he's had. But yeah, he's another one. Like you said, he works his butt off,
That's it, man. And that is something that, in the industry, a lot of us who will say from the country radio side of things, we notice that stuff. Like, we read the articles, we see the work, we see what they do, and that plays a lot into, again, the success of those artists.
Right. And then after Cole, FGL came out and brought the party. And again, we were able to watch some of their set together as well.
We sure did. Yep.
By that point of the night, it was the last night of the festival, and it was okay to start drinking and just enjoy the show.
Or leave early.
Well, you had a long drive in your case.
I did. And it's an hour and a half. It's not too bad, but I've seen the guys before, and I will say that it's a damn good show. And it was so freaking cold that night that I'm like, I'm good to go. The only thing that was keeping me warm was their pyros. And I think you and your brother were like, okay, keep the fire going, please. But I'm like, I'm just gonna go home.
Yeah, and it's funny, people can say what they want about FGL, like when the songs come on, the songs they release and stuff. They might not always have now the best songs or the most country songs, but when you see them live, they are really good. And actually, like, my brother is one who he likes to make fun of them. Every time like they release a new album, oh, well, that's not country or blah blah. What is this? What is this crap? Like that kind of thing.
Well, according to the name of their last album, it's country, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But then when he sees them live, he remembers how great they are live and how much fun they are to see, and like I said, like they bring the party, and it's kind of a cycle for him. He talks crap about them. He wants to go see them live. Talks crap about them. Wants to go see them live. Just a few weekends ago, he's like, man, he's like, we should go see Florida Georgia Line this summer. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You know how much crap you talked about when they released their new album?
Yeah.
He's like, I know, but they're so good live.
It's like a Nickelback syndrome that you talk trash about them once you're there. You're like, oh, these guys are really great. I will admit, I think
favorite band.
Nickelback's a
not
great
even
band.
close. Not even close.
I will say they're a great band. But in all honesty, with Florida Georgia Line, it's not a mistake why they're as big as they are. I mean, they get their fans. They, again, another group that busted their tail to get where they are. They had one song that was unbelievably massive and cruise, not only with the original but also the remixed version with Nelly.
Yep.
And then that just shot them up to superstardom to have, again, those songs that are great to perform live. And they did a great job of releasing those songs, the ones that were great live that got people going and passionate, even their slow songs.
Right.
They were the songs that everybody's just singing in the crowd.
Yep. Absolutely. There's definitely a formula, and those guys kind of mastered it.
Yeah, definitely.
So before we jump into this year's lineup and start previewing that for people, I just want to mention for anyone who hasn't been to Lakeshake before, there's a lot more than just the music. Some of the different stuff that the festival features. Obviously, there's lots of different kinds of alcohol. You've got everything from wine in a can to beer. There's those fancy guitar margarita drinks that are like $15 or something like that.
Yeah, tornadoes or something or other. Or, yeah. Hurricanes, I think is what they're called. Are they called hurricanes?
Yeah, I think so. They have craft beer. They have I'm trying to think. I didn't do a whole lot of drinking last year at the festival, so but I mean you can look it up on there. Search Lakeshake on Instagram, but a lot of, like, if you're there to party, there's no shortage of what to drink.
And I will say, if you see a guy with a fanny pack and sunglasses on, looks like he's showered in about 3 weeks, don't buy anything from him, okay? It's more than likely illegal, and they're not affiliated with the Lakeshake Festival, okay?
Yeah, so don't buy anything from shady people.
That's right. See something, say something.
I love that little PSA.
Thank you.
And then obviously there's beanbags, or as some people prefer to call it, cornhole, which I grew up. It was called plain bags. That's what we called it.
Yep.
I see online everywhere people call it cornhole. I'm like, no, that just sounds weird.
It kind of sounds inappropriate, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad to know you are not one of those people that calls it cornhole.
Oh no, I do. I totally call it cornhole. But again, have you met me? Like, it's appropriate. Okay, Matt will probably say it. Okay.
But yeah, they have beanbags set up in the lawn area. There's line dancing. You can learn to line dance, which is something I've always wanted to learn how to do, but I can't dance to save my life, so that's probably why I haven't tried it.
Yeah, Lee Bryce says he can't dance either, but he still does. So there's faith for you.
But you know what? If I was Lee Bryce, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to try anything.
Well, here's the thing. Here, I'll go with the Lee Bryce song. He says he doesn't dance, not that he can't dance. It's not, I can't dance. I don't dance. He's making a choice.
There you go.
All right.
There's like carnival-esque rides. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they have that if that's your thing. And then there's something with the Blackhawks as well. I don't know if it's just like a sponsorship or what. There's a pop-up Opry stage, which was really cool.
That was really cool last year.
Yeah, I just wish they had announced a schedule, because you didn't know who was going to play when.
Right.
And by the time you figured it out, there's like a huge crowd. And then for those of you glued to your cell phones, they do have charging stations there, so you don't have to worry about going without juice and having to forego not Snapchatting your favorite song.
Please don't be that person. Here's my second PSA of the podcast. Don't be that jackass that's holding your phone up in front of your face, holding it up, blocking the view of other people behind you. Take a picture or take a 30-second video and then put your phone away the rest of the show, because honest to goodness, nobody else on your Instagram gives a shit about your story and who you're seeing, because if they did, they'd be at the festival with you. Okay? Don't do that. Don't be that guy.
This PSA was brought to you by Matt Malone.
Copyright 2019, Matt Malone Incorporated.
Oh my goodness. And then obviously there's lots of merch there, not just from the individual artists, but from, Lakeshake as well. And so now we're going to talk about this year's lineup, which is pretty impressive. Go ahead.
Can I check my bonfire real quick? Yeah. It's still burning. I just got to make sure my lawn in my house is on fire. It's really wet here, though, so I think we'll be okay.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why you have a bonfire if you're inside?
Well, because I've got a branch that fell down in my yard, and I cut it up. I used my chainsaw, and it's been sitting in my yard, and I've got a bunch of this brush. So I've got the logs that are still, and I'm going to use those for actual bonfires. But I've got this brush, these limbs and stuff that are still needing to be burned. And we've had so many days of rain straight that I haven't had the opportunity to actually burn them. And obviously, with my work schedule, not exactly. Yeah. Home a lot, so the time and opportunity for me to be able to actually do that, to clean up my yard and burn that brush, is very few and far between. And it actually turned out to be a nice night tonight, but tomorrow it's going to be a nice sunny day. I've got to go to Grand Rapids for work. So by the time I get back, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are all rain. So I'm like, this is going to be the opportunity where I can get some of this done.
Gotcha.
Right? Yeah. So
I thought maybe you were going to be sitting outside recording.
I literally had this huge urge to do that, but then with how windy it is, I've got a windscreen on my mic, but I didn't want to be that guy. That was, it's like, that's Matt.
Turned into a weatherman instead of.
Exactly. Looks really nice out here in Michigan. Beautiful sun. I've got the door open though, so I can see the sunset right now. It is gorgeous. I'm glad that we all get to share this moment together.
So nice.
It's very romantic. Brett, stop looking at me like that. I'll be right back.
Okay. So this year's lineup is really impressive. So the Next from Nashville stage, we'll start with that. Cassie Ashton, who has a really different sound than any of the, especially not just the female artists, obviously, but artists in general on country radio right now. She really kind of came with her own unique sound.
She is a very, very interesting artist. Just because with the signing that she had with UMG, they said that she was trying to decide whether she's going to move to LA and become a pop star or move to Nashville and become a country star. And they got her to become a country star. We at the country radio seminars, we had the opportunity to see her play at the Ryman Auditorium, not this past year, but the year prior. And she is just an incredible talent. I mean, she could go either way, but you hear song, the first song that I ever heard of hers was California, Missouri. Mm-hmm. And such a good song, man. It's her voice, and just, it's a dark song, and it's just really cool. And then, Taxidermy came out, and now it's more of a, upbeat kind of like, don't mess with me kind of song. And I just respect her vocal talents, because she really is, a powerful voice. But I really respect her songwriting and storytelling as well.
Yeah, definitely. I like violins, personally. I think that's my favorite one so far.
Sure.
But yeah, it'll be and then she did I believe Keith Urban featured her on one of the songs on his last album, Graffiti.
Yes. Yep. Which was a great song too.
Yeah. So it'll be really cool to get to see her live and see a little bit more of what she does on stage.
Definitely agree.
And then Rachel Wamick. I don't know I never know if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. But
Wamick.
What's her name?
Wamick.
Wamick. Okay.
I don't know. I'm just making that up. That could be wrong too.
Thanks.
I just want to throw another curveball at you.
Always keeping us on our toes.
I do think it's Womack, honestly.
Wamick.
And I got to see her sign a record deal actually with Sony,
nice.
Which was really cool. They brought her out on stage inside the Omni Hotel in one of their arena rooms. It was a really cool. Yeah.
I love her EP.
Yes. She started out as a bartender and had the opportunity, obviously, to hear a lot of different stories. Mm-hmm. And that is what led to her song.
Damage.
Damage, that's what it was. And what a great song that is, too.
Yep.
but she's just honestly just a really, really good artist in general too. And again, another part of that storytelling.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think she's just got a really sweet sound to her.
Yeah, definitely. And let's preface this too by saying that this Next from Nashville stage that we're talking about with this Friday lineup, this is an all-female lineup, not only on the Next from Nashville, but the main stage too.
Yes, I was definitely going to get to that. So, and one of the things is it's great to see them put way more female artists on this year's lineup in general than last year. I think you and I had a conversation about this last year as well. Yeah. There was maybe 1 or 2 female artists last year, and one of those was part of a group. So, I mean, it was just really disappointing to not see the female country artists represented last year at Lakeshake. But so this year it was really cool that they fixed that. My only issue is I hope having an all-female lineup on one day isn't going to backfire.
I think I will agree with you, but I think the headliner will bring that back for them. I think there's a lot of fans, and we'll get to that a little bit, but I think there's enough fans out there to make that worth it for them.
Yeah, I hope so. Because the lineup is fantastic for Friday. Like I said, I hope that it doesn't draw the kind of country fans that we were talking about before at our previous episode with you, the ones that kind of ruin it for everyone else. I hope that those fans don't ruin this lineup for the artists on the bill.
I hope you're right.
Somebody who I was surprised to see on the lineup was Rita Wilson, who those of you might recognize her as Tom Hanks' wife.
Yeah.
A known actress as well, obviously. I didn't know she was a country singer.
I knew that she had dabbled in it, but I didn't know that she was enough to be further in the lineup than Cassie Ashton and Rachel Womack.
I thought that was really weird. And so somebody I know interviewed her at CMA Fest over the weekend, and they said she's good. I don't know. I'm going to have to look up her song now. But yeah, it just seems weird.
I can't say that I could give you one of her songs. I can't say I've ever listened to one of her songs.
Right.
This is not discrediting her ability by any stretch, but again, basing the lineup off of that, I don't know if they're counting on her bringing appeal to the fact that, again, Tom Hanks' wife or what, but there's going to be a lull in the day, and that point, in my opinion, I think will happen. And again, nothing against her personally or her music or her singing ability. It's just nobody knows who she is.
Right. Do you think he'll be with her? Not obviously on stage, but like just in general with her at the festival?
I could see it for Chicago. I would say for another performance outside of there, probably not, but I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they named the volleyball after her? Rita
I don't know. Wilson! That's pretty funny, actually. I never thought about that, to be honest with you.
Hey, thanks.
I also wasn't a big fan of that movie, though.
I thought it was a good movie. I'll take it.
The ending, I'm not a big fan of those open-ended endings.
Yeah.
Where you just don't know what happened.
You need closure.
I do.
If Tom Hanks is there, I'll be surprised.
I will be surprised, but I could see it.
But it's Toy Story 4 opening weekend.
Oh, then no, he's definitely not going to be there. Yeah. No, you're right.
Oh,
no,
is it the opening weekend?
Yep.
Oh, well then no, he won't be there. Damn. Well, thanks for blowing that for us, Rich.
That's my job.
Could have a nice fun weekend looking for Tom, but
right?
Or Woody. Yep, but not anymore.
I can just see the hashtags. Where's Woody?
That's right, exactly. That could be a T-shirt. Can we do that? Can we get Rita Wilson T-shirts that say on the front, "Where's Woody?" and then on the back, hashtag Rita Wilson?
Look at you being a marketing mastermind.
That's it. I've got a marketing degree. I don't have a broadcasting degree. I've got a marketing degree. We're putting it to use.
Damn.
That's it.
Yeah, between my communications degree and your marketing degree, there you go. We can take our show on the road.
That's it. We're gonna make We're gonna make dollars.
Just $3. Just $3.
Yeah. I'm bringing it to a little bit more realistic level for us.
And one of those is a $2 bill.
That's right. Exactly. Oh man, we can't spend that one. Save that one.
Oh man. So we're back to what? $1? or none?
Yeah, I mean, you can still say it's a gross of $3. Just two of the dollars is tied up.
Oh my goodness. Claire Dunn is the other artist on the next from Nashville stage for Friday's lineup, and so she's had kind of an interesting career so far.
She definitely has.
Yeah, Tuxedo was it's one of those songs where it's like you don't know if you should like it, but you kind of do, and then you kind of remember that you shouldn't like it again.
Yeah, I for me, More is the most recent song that I'm familiar with, and I can't. I mean, it's nothing against Claire by any means because she is a talented singer.
Definitely is.
In my opinion, there's just, for me, again, this is my personal opinion, and you don't have to, if you want to send me hate mail, that's fine. Just had a bonfire with a bunch of hate. No, I'm just kidding. But she's not memorable, and the songs are not memorable, in my opinion.
I can agree with that.
And that's hard. You know, it's hard to break through when you don't have that one standout song that's like, holy hell, this gets me right in my heart, or
right.
Oh my God, this gets me up and dancing. And you got to have that memorable song, and she just hasn't found it yet, in my opinion. And I know she's talented. She's an amazingly talented singer. She's just got to find that right song.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And because of that, there's a couple other artists that I would have liked to have seen in her spot.
Okay, who do you got?
I mean, I would have liked to have seen Kaylee Shorter. I think she's come a long way. She deserves a
her
spot like that.
Her podcast is fantastic, by the way.
Her show on Radio Disney Country with Savannah Kais?
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I've heard clips of her, and she's good. She really.
I love her. Tiara, I think, would have been great. Who else? God, there's so many right now.
Yeah, I would if we were to add those ones, I would shift the lineup a little bit again, putting Cassie, and Rachel ahead of them because I feel like they're a little bit better known, with the exception of maybe Kaylee, just because of the Radio Disney side of things.
Yeah.
So that'd be really hard to do, but
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, but I agree.
Saturday's lineup for Next from Nashville stage is really cool. There's my guys George and Cody from Waterloo Revival.
They are awesome.
I love them so much.
They've got some fun songs, and they've got some deep songs. Enemy?
Yes.
Or no, that's Muscadine Bloodline. Sorry, different band. No.
Awkward.
Waterloo. I do like Waterloo Revival though. They really are. They actually just released some new music not too long ago that was one of those songs that I'm like, holy crap, this is a really good song. And I can't remember.
The Wonder Woman EP.
Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Yes. Great song.
And
man.
They just played some unreleased new music at CMA Fest over the weekend, which I'm hoping they're gonna be playing also at Lakeshake next weekend, and then hopefully they'll be releasing that soon. I know these guys have been working so hard to get the new music out as fast as they can, but obviously you know how it goes with labels and stuff like that.
That's it, man. It's a hard business, and we only see 10% of it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But those guys are so much fun, and they're such nice guys. I got the chance to meet them last year or 2 years ago in Nashville down at CMA Fest, and just really awesome guys.
Yeah.
Levi Hummon is also going to be on the Next from Nashville stage on Saturday, and Ross Ellis. And then somebody who I'm super excited to see is Matt Stell.
Oh my God. Okay, I was just talking about him. Again, this conversation is so weird because again, it's tying in all of my other conversations from today into this. But Matt Stell, he, obviously the song that he has, Prayed for You, is one of those songs I think is going to be one of the biggest songs of weddings this year.
Yep.
And if you're getting married, you absolutely should be using this song.
But use the stripped down version.
100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's so cool when artists have those songs and they're very, good love songs and they're good on radio, but then they do those stripped down versions specifically for use at weddings. I think that's so good. But his album Everywhere But On, the title track, for me is probably my favorite off of the whole EP. Really? I just think it's oh my God, it's a perfect song. It's like I've tried getting away from you, but no matter what, No matter where I
into
go.
a confessional.
No, but I think, I mean, I've been there. I've absolutely been there. You know, the good news is I moved on as well, but it's that situation where you're like, man, you're so deep in it, and stuff happens and it breaks up, it ends, and you try to do what you got to do to get away from it, whether it be, you know, stop hanging out the same places that you were hanging out, or you physically move locations. But no matter where you go, you see these things, and you get reminded, and you relive and you replay these memories, and no matter where you go, what you do, you can't move on from it. And that is a perfect song. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I am obsessed with his EP. I don't think there's a bad song on there at all.
100%.
And so some of the songs that he does on there, it kind of surprised me, because, you know, you hear Prayed for You, and then you hear Everywhere But On, and then you hear songs like Better I Drink and Whiskey Wood, and they're just a little bit darker, a little bit more, I don't want to say pop country, because his voice kind of doesn't make it pop country,
Right.
but it's just, you know, it leans more towards like those kind of melodies. But man, they're so good. It's such good songwriting. And I saw a picture of him because he was on the Bobby Bones show. I think it was like last week maybe, or the week before. And he's a tall guy. I guess he used to play basketball.
He did, actually, and that's what led to the conversation, because I started putting that song in rotation for us. Because it's a damn good song. Pray for You is a damn good song. And the gal that's doing middays for us now is from Missouri, and she says, she barges in the studio as I'm like working on stuff. She goes, "You added Matt Stell?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, and we've been playing it for a while. She just noticed it, but she goes, "You're playing that?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, he used to tour around southern Missouri, Joplin, and that kind of area, Springfield."
That's where I grew up.
He used to play the bars. Is that okay? There you go. So so she's like, "I know him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know him, but my friends are good friends with him. They don't talk as much, but yeah, he used to play basketball and da 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 da." I'm like, "Well, yeah, he's a friggin' giant. Of course. If he didn't play basketball, I would be mad at him. You know?"
Yeah, for sure.
He's so good.
He seems like a nice guy. I'm hoping I am able to go next weekend, because I would really just love to see him.
Yeah, he's so good.
And then Sunday's lineup for Next from Nashville is Elizabeth Lyons, who's really good. Lauren Jenkins, who I love. She's so talented. I love her her debut album. And then
Lauren is a great storyteller as well too. She was highlighted again, and I keep referring back to CRS. And if you don't know what CRS is, it's country radio seminars where radio professionals basically go down and get to learn a little bit more about industry trends, but also get to see some of the artists highlighted from the record labels. And Big Machine, they brought Lauren out to sing alongside of this other young kid, Noah Schnacky, who is another incredible talent too. And he's going to be a big star, and he's a young kid. He's a super young kid. But yeah, Maker's Mark and You, holy shnikes. What a freaking great song too. That is one of those songs that's like, yeah, I get it. I get that song.
Yeah. I love Running Out of Road. And what's the other one? It's more upbeat, actually. Hang on. I have to look it up because I should know the name of the song.
My Bar. All Good Things.
No.
Blood.
No.
No Saint. Payday.
No.
You'll Never Know.
You'll Never Know. That's
there
the name
it is.
of
I should have started with that one.
I love that song so much.
I can't say that I know that song.
Super relatable song, and it's got a really great upbeat melody to it, which makes it even better, because even though it's about like unrequited love, like it's still like kind of a happy song, like, or at least in like the, you know, musically speaking.
Right.
But yeah, I love Lauren Jenkins. I think she's somebody that people definitely need to keep their eye on.
She's a big time video maker as well too. I don't want to say videographer, but she like a documentarian as well. Okay. And so she's super passionate about doing that as well as making music. So Maker's Mark and You, the video that kind of correlates with that too, is one that I believe she shot and directed the whole thing too. But she's an all around talent when it comes to all sorts of different media.
Yes. And then Kaylee Hammack, who we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Love her.
She's going to be on the Next from Nashville stage that same day.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin Burke, who I'm not super familiar with.
I'm not really familiar with him either. Here's my opinion on Austin Burke, and again, it's nothing, not a personal vendetta or anything like that, but it's, he looks like every other young country star. I mean, until I hear something that stands out, he blends in with the crowd, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's not a dig, though. It's not a dig.
No. And then Hardy, who is really blown up.
Love this guy. So awesome. Great songwriter. God's Country wrote that one. That's cool.
Yeah.
Him and Devin Dawson. But
he's got his hands in a lot of songwriting.
So I knew him I knew of him just before he released his latest EP, Where to Find Me. So I knew of him based off of some of 4x4 and these other songs, but Throwback was probably my first song I heard of him.
Yeah, Rednecker.
That one was a good one, but it was the Throwback that was the one that kind of got me, and I'm like, okay, this guy's kind of interesting. It's a different sound.
Yeah.
And I listened to a little bit of stuff, but then all of a sudden, Where to Find Me came out, and I'll Quit Loving You was with a song, and Sign Sober You, which is kind of, for me, was really familiar with Drunk Me by Mitchell Tenpenny, but it's in a completely different way. But basically, writing yourself a note when you get drunk to try to get over someone.
Yeah.
That you read this note, you're like, don't be an idiot. I know you're very vulnerable right now, but don't do it. Don't be stupid.
So I think he's going to have a really big crowd around him at Lakeshake. And then somebody else who I'm super excited about is Travis Denning. I absolutely love his sound. I'm obsessed with all 3 singles he has out right now.
He's a hell of a guitar player. He's right up there with Keith Urban and Vince Gill, these other incredible guitar players when it comes to music. But he's got an interesting sound because every time that he sings, he really gives it. He really, really gives it. He gets really into the music. And I heard him sing After a Few 4 times in the same weekend. One of the times was actually like 3 hours apart. And I was still so incredibly impressed, and I love that song so much, and I really hope it takes off, and it's starting to.
And his new song is a really great song, too. I mean, all of his songs are, but Take a Gas in a Radio Song.
Yes, yeah, and that's not a radio single yet, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to pull the plug on After a Few yet, because it is slowly still creeping up.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, that new song that I just heard it 2 days ago for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome song. Great song.
Yeah. Just such a great songwriter. I cannot wait for more new music from him. So I'm super excited that he's playing Lakeshake. And then Friday for the main stage. So going back to our all-female lineup. Lindsay L., who I'm obsessed with. I absolutely love her. I've loved her for a long time now. I'm so glad she's starting to get just a quarter of the success that she deserves.
Mm-hmm.
God, every time I see a video of her performing or a picture, it's just, I mean, you talk about somebody who just gives it 110%. She's that person every time she goes on stage.
Absolutely. And I have to say I guess maybe annoying as it might sound, I love her guitar too. Her guitar, the rainbow guitar is fantastic. But she's so good. She really is. And I'm glad that she's seeing a little bit of success. I'm a little bit disappointed in the fact that, this recent success or the latest success that she's had has been with Brantley Gilbert and not solo. Brantley's a great guy too. But, you hope for these artists to have these solo success stories.
Yeah.
Not having to team up with other people. But she's getting her name out there. She's building her brand, and she is a powerhouse for sure.
Definitely. And I know she's been working on a second album. So that's going to be really cool to hear. Hopefully, I'm assuming she'll play some new songs for everyone at Lakeshake.
Absolutely.
And then Cassidy Pope, who released her album earlier this year, I believe.
Yep.
So she'll be there as well.
I'm a huge fan of the song One More Red Light. God, what a great song. I like that song a lot.
I'm surprised you like that song.
I love that song. I think that, I'm very sentimental, right? But, it's just a fun song saying, man, everybody hates red lights, right? But this is such a positive perspective on it. Like, I just want one more red light. We could give each other a little smoochy smooch, and then we'll get to the next red light. And I just think it's a fun song, and she is an incredible talent, great voice, and fun personality. And I really hope that she gets a success.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just trying to picture you jamming out to Cassie Pope in your truck.
100%. I will send you a video of it. I promise.
Please do.
True story. True story.
And then speaking of powerhouses, Lauren Elena is also going to be there on Friday. You talk about somebody with a huge vocal range.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that girl can sing her ass off.
She is one of the artists that we had. I mentioned our Storytellers Jam in Madison. We had her there as well, along with Morgan Evans. And she is, honest to goodness, she has such a great library of music already, a great catalog. But it's one of those things that having, again, that mainstream success that she's trying to push for and strive for. But I know where she's coming from when she released the song Ladies from the 90s. And
yeah,
I can't get on board with that song. It's not because
I wanted to.
Yeah,
it was
I love the
hard.
message. It's just not a good song. It's not a good. I'm sorry, and I'll be blunt and straightforward with it. It's just not a good song. It's a great meaning, and I know where she's going with it. It's just not a good song. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it hit the mark on that one.
Yeah. So
or missed the mark, I should say.
It missed the mark. I hit the mark. She missed the mark.
Right. Yes. She's also working on new music. She's working on her third album now, I believe she said.
Yep.
And then somebody who's going to draw a huge crowd, I believe, on Friday is Maren Morris. I can just picture that whole Lakeshake crowd singing along to the middle at the top of their lungs.
Oh, for sure. And that's going to be the crowd that's going to be there, too.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily those that are going to be knowing her from country music, but Miranda, or not Miranda, but Maren in particular is one of those artists that I will say is, I don't want to say genreless, but kind of genreless. She has such a sound of her own where she can sing songs like My Church, and that's country, and then has songs like In the Middle, or The Middle, and that's a great song. And then Girl, how do you classify that? She's just
exactly.
So damn good.
Yeah, and I mean, I think her new album was a perfect example of just defying, like, completely crossing, genre, blurring the lines so that you don't know what genre she fits into because she can't be pigeonholed into a box.
Ryan Hurd said it perfectly about her, saying that she didn't make something country, she didn't make something pop, she made something completely Maren.
Yeah,
I think that's a perfect way to describe that.
100%. And it's not to jump ahead again, but it's really cool that he's going to be at Lakeshake as well. And on the main stage this year, he'll be there on Sunday. But going back to the headliner spot for Friday, Miranda Lambert featuring the Pistolantes. I've said it before, I'm not a huge Miranda fan. There are maybe a handful of songs by her that I enjoy, that I really like. But overall, I'm not a Miranda fan.
Yeah, I'm so torn with her. I think the Pistolantes, Angelina, I don't know anything about. I'm sorry, I don't.
Is she the one that has the? Not to interrupt you. It was Angelina, the one that has the White Sox player husband.
Maybe
or a
again,
baseball player.
Even that much, I don't even know. But I think so. She, and again, I don't know anything about her. Ashley Monroe is amazing. I'm an incredible fan of Ashley Monroe. The album, The Blade. So well written, so many great songs on it. She is so awesome. So I'll be excited to see her. I've never seen her live. But Miranda on her own, on her solo stuff with some of the songs, Little Red Wagon, I don't get that song. I can't get on board with it. But then you get these other songs, Tin Man, holy, I can say the S word, right?
Yeah. Holy
shit. It's such a good song. Jack Ingram, one of the co-writers on it, Miranda.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and with that song, it pulls in that 1,000% should have been another number one song.
I agree.
But and I don't. She's bitter. She's angry at the industry, or at least portrays that, and I don't blame her one bit. I don't, because it doesn't seem like no matter what she releases, that it's been a fair shake, and maybe there's people in the industry in radio that are like, oh, she's not a nice person, or she didn't do this for us, or blah, 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 so we don't play the song, or whatever the reason is. But you can't argue with me that Tin Man is not a good song that everybody can relate to, you know?
Yeah.
And
no, I agree with you there.
so it's just, it makes me mad because we talked about it for the last podcast and saying there's issues with country music, and radio and the charts and the labels and the industry. And there is, and that's one of those issues, is you get these good songs that some people in different markets say, oh, it's not an upbeat song, it's not a positive song, or it's too depressing or whatever. And they're like, well, we're going to play something a little bit more upbeat because that fits the time of year or whatever. And that's one of those things that just bugs me because of the fact that, again, you've got a great song right there, and you're not playing it. And those of us that recognize it's a good song,
right,
we kind of get screwed on the deal and get clumped into that large group, that large conglomerate of hearts that decide to make the decisions, and it sucks. So, anyways, that's my pedestal moment for a radio. But I do say I love some of her music. I really do. I can definitely say that I really look forward to seeing what she releases on her next album.
I agree. I agree with that. So then going forward with Saturday's headlining main stage line. I can't talk tonight. Saturday's main stage lineup. Danielle Bradbury, who I was kind of surprised they didn't put on Friday's lineup, but it might have just been an issue of like her schedule. But so she's really good. She's a really, really talented vocalist. And I think she's been working on some new music, so it'll be cool to see her live. And then
I'm very excited to see her. And I'm really, again, another song I'm disappointed that did not make it was Goodbye Summer. That was a fantastic duet. And that should have been, again, another song that at least broke the top 20.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I thought that was one of the better duets that we've heard.
Yeah, 100%.
Recently.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Morgan Evans, we talked about. He's moved from the Next from Nashville stage to the main stage this year. And honestly, I think it's well-deserved. I think he's going to do really well on the main stage. I think he's got a great following. His album was fantastic. I'm a big Morgan Evans fan.
Nobody's going to remember the show because they're all going to be day drunk. Song puns. They're fun.
So I heard somebody who I'm very close with, who I also had on the podcast not that long ago. She has issues with day drunk because, and I'm not 100% clear on what the issues are, but I think it's just because of I don't know if it's the cliches within the song and like why it's become so popular versus songs that are more serious. I don't know. I want to say I think that's the issue. Me personally, you take Day Drunk for what it is. It's just a fun country song.
Yeah, it's no different than Day Drinking from Little Big Town or Pontoon or these other big songs.
Yeah, I loved it the first time I heard him play it, and I think that's why it's become so popular on radio now.
Yeah, it took a while though, and honestly, yeah, I think it's a fun song. Is it something that stands out again like that? It's like your heart? No, but is it a good summer song? Yeah, and that's why it's starting to take off now.
Songs on the album that do stand out that are definitely worthy of going back to those core values that we talk about in country music.
Oh, 100%. And again, it's one of those things that the timing of the song for where it's going to be peaking and where it's going to be taking off is perfect for the time of year. And
definitely,
seeing him play it acoustic versus with the full band, which he'll have the full band with him at Lakeshake, seeing him do it acoustic is even more impressive because he builds. Have you ever seen Ed Sheeran in concert?
Unfortunately, I haven't. I've been dying to, though.
Okay, so Ed Sheeran and Morgan, I guess, is a good example of this too. They have a loop pedal, and they literally will build the song from the floor level, from the basement, and continue to layer audio with the loop pedal, and it's really, really impressive to see. So I hope that when Morgan plays that particular song, that he'll give the band a break and he'll build the song from the ground and do it like that, because I think that's the best way to see the song.
Yeah, I agree. I saw him do it that way when I went to see him for his album release party at
Perfect.
Joe's.
Yes, exactly.
The next band that's going to be on the main stage and you and I have had this conversation before, is Midland, and I am not a fan of them at all.
Huge fan of them. Huge. Love those guys.
My issue with them is they're completely, and I'm not saying this as my opinion, it's a fact. There was an article about it. They were completely manufactured by Big Machine.
Yeah. What I will say, there's something to be said when it comes to authenticity in country music.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys didn't just tour around for a year and decide to be, country music. I mean, they've toured around and they performed, especially in Texas, which is a hard area to tour.
Yeah.
But if the music's good and it's a good country song that you can relate to, who the hell cares? In my opinion. Who cares?
Yeah, but are they really that good? Like, so when the album came out, I get it. Like, my brother played the album for me, and he was impressed with them until that article came out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I definitely hear the vintageness of their sound. I hear influences of Dwight Yoakam and Vince Gill and
Merle.
and so and so on. But then you see them live, and I've seen them live a couple times now. One, they look like they're trying too hard. I don't care for the gimmick, the getup. Two, they've butchered cover songs that they should not have butchered. And three, they're not all that good live.
How did you like their Brooks and Dunn reboot?
I didn't.
You didn't? Really?
I did not like their version of it. No. I mean, it wasn't as horrible as I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't anything to write home about either.
That whole album, I really like.
No, just that song.
No. And I'm just gonna say, from my point, I love the whole album with the exception of Brett Young's version.
Oh, see, I loved Brett Young's version.
Oh, in my opinion, he ruined it. And I love Brett Young. He ruined that song. Ain't nothing about her. Don't change the words to such a classic song and make the band that originally made that song such a success.
He didn't change. I don't remember the word being changed. I have it on my playlist.
The song is "Ain't Nothing About You." Ain't nothing about you. Don't do something for me. He's changed it. Ain't nothing about her.
Are you sure?
I'm 1,000% positive. I swear to you. And
I'm looking it up now.
Is the title of the song itself is still "Ain't Nothing About You," but when they sing the song, it's "Ain't Nothing About Her," and that drives me nuts. I'm sorry, but
I don't remember that.
And make your own rendition of the song. Go for it. Put your own influence in it. But Jesus, at least leave something intact of the song. Casey Musgrave's version of Neon Moon kept all the words the same and made it completely.
But it wasn't a good version.
I 1,000% disagree with you on that.
Oh, no.
Amazing version of the song. 100%.
I wasn't crazy about her version.
I loved her version. I think it's different, and I think it's a little bit more modern, and I mean, now we're getting sidetracked, but I really did love that version of that song, and I think the whole album, Cody Johnson did such a fantastic job too. It's just
he did.
The Brett song that I just could not get on board with. But
that breaks my heart.
Circling back to Midland, my complete scenario of again them being fabricated, them not. To me, my opinion is, if you didn't know that they were fabricated, if you didn't put them in there and say, here's the backstory of Midland,
mm-hmm.
would you still like the song, especially from someone who's such a heavy proponent for traditional country sound?
I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it and respect it more. But personally, their songs honestly don't do anything for me.
Really? Okay.
Really, yeah.
Okay. Well, then this is something that we can respectfully agree to disagree on.
Yeah.
All right.
The next performer on the main stage, so I am super excited for, Brett Young, who we were just talking about.
He better not sing that song, I swear to God.
I hope he
will.
does.
I'm sure he will. He will.
I absolutely love Brett Young. I've seen him quite a few times now. Once headlining at Joe's Live, and then last summer at Windy City Smokeout. And he's just such a good performer. He's so talented. A sound completely his own. And oh my God,
his voice.
You talk about one of the best debut albums by an artist. He had it with his self-titled debut album. Just so good.
I'm a fan of Brett, and it's just that one song that I cannot get on board with. The rest of his music and seeing him live and seeing the crowds that he draws, unbelievable. And from all of these hits that he's already had in his very short success, we'll say, the songs that he has had, you don't love you like I do, lyrics that are so powerful.
Yeah.
You never loved me like I loved you. And that just tears at your heart. Who, again, I hate this. I hate to continue to go back down this depressing road, but again, who hasn't felt that way?
Yeah.
This person that I'm completely head over heels with doesn't feel the same way about me. Oh my God. Punch me in the gut and then steal my car. I don't know. How do you feel that you can't? It's powerful. And Brett is a talent. Just saying the right words.
I just don't want us to make you cry again, Matt, like we did last time.
It's too late.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sunset's beautiful.
As his beer fills up with his tears.
It's almost empty.
Oh, well, then you'll be refilling the glass with your tears. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
The next performer we can all agree is fantastic, and that is Mr. Keith Urban.
Amazing. And what a hell of a guy, too.
Yeah.
Honestly. Oh, my God.
I was fortunate enough at CMA Fest 2 years ago to, on a whim, get to meet him, and just an amazing, amazing person. Like, I cannot say enough good things about him. And I remember, like, after meeting him and getting a picture with him, I texted, like, almost everyone I knew, and I was like, that about it. And I remember my aunt was like, does he smell as good as you think? I'm like, even better. And everyone, like, all like one of my male coworkers was like, that's a weird question. I was like, no, it's really not.
No, a lot of people ask that.
But Keith is just so talented. It's got such a catalog of amazing songs, and always such an incredible performer.
So good. Absolutely. I've seen him before at festivals, and I can't believe I'm telling this story again. But again, literally, same story I told earlier today. One of my favorite shows, I saw him at Country Fest in Cadott, Wisconsin, where he was out on the catwalk, crowd on the left, crowd on the right, crowd right up the middle, a sea of people. And he is continuing to play his guitar solo and just getting into the music, leaning backwards so far to the point where he ends up laying on his back, playing guitar on the catwalk. It was a moment that just gave you goosebumps, and you just had this awe moment. You're just stuck, and you're just like, this guy is incredible. And Entertainer of the Year, absolutely well-deserved. Yeah,
I 100% agree. I would say for as far as my favorite country artists of all time go, it's definitely him and Garth.
There you go. Garth is the man. Oh, he is the man. Oh,
definitely.
And a humble guy too.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. So moving on to Sunday's main stage lineup, we've got Ryan Hurd, who we were just talking about, and I think that's really well deserved.
From Kalamazoo, Michigan, by the way.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Just down the road from me.
And I thought it was really cool the way, what's his name who's in charge of Lakeshake, asked him on Twitter to be a part of the lineup.
Oh, I didn't see that. What happened?
So it was right after he sold out his headlining show at Joe's on Wheat Street. Yeah. And I think it was somewhere along the lines of like, hey, how about, since for those people who don't get a chance to see your sold out show at Joe's, how about you come back to Chicago and play the main stage of Lakeshake? And Ryan was basically like, oh my God, like, are you serious? Like, that's incredible.
That's so cool. And I'm a fan of Ryan. Again, his personality, Marin's personality, very different from what you would see of a traditional. It's just very. I don't even know how to describe it.
It's very modern.
Stoic, maybe, and modern, just kind of like chill, like just relax a little bit, but very. Fancy is not a good way to say it. Very artistic is probably the best way to say it. But
I would say it's maybe like the countrified, less stuck-up version of like a Jay-Z and Beyonce in the making.
Sure. That's perfect. That's a great way to describe it. But his catalog, from Diamonds and Twine, which I think is a great song, To a T, amazing song, and the fact that Marin is on that too, you got to have some kind of inkling that they're going to sing that together, right?
They're not on the same day.
But I'm sure that she's not booked 2 days later. I'm sure she's probably going to make a weekend out of it in Chicago with Ryan.
Yeah, I would hope so.
And then Michigan for the Winter is an amazing song too.
I'm really surprised that you like To a T.
I love that song. Oh my
I'm
god.
really surprised.
It's well written. The melody is fantastic, and Ryan is one of those guys that, in my opinion, can sing anything, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
"Love in a Bar" is a fantastic song.
I love City Girl.
Yeah, it's the first song that I ever heard was "Love in a Bar," and it's just like, again, one of those stop unit tracks kind of songs. I'm like, this is really cool.
I actually prefer the stripped down version, which she just released like last week or the week before, of To a T.
Yeah. I can say that I've heard him play the acoustic version. God, was the YouTube video? Maybe it's YouTube. Yeah,
I think so.
Acoustic. It's just like, again, his talent is unbelievable. So
yeah.
So good.
And then we talked about John Langston, who's going to be back this time on the main stage, as well as Mitchell Tenpenny, who he's got a different kind of sound. I don't know if I'm 100% on board with Mitchell's sound, but I mean, more power to him for paving his own, making his own lane essentially.
M10 is my guy, man. I'm excited to see him. I'm very excited.
God, you're surprising me with these.
I'm very excited for. I mean, here's the thing: "Drunk Me" was the first and it was the first discovery for me of Mitchell, and that song for me was just like, yeah, I totally get that too. And again, it's not necessarily personal relation, but it's like one of those that's like, okay, I get it. But "I'll Call You Later," another really good song in my opinion. Would that have been the next song that I would have released to radio? I would not have been. In my opinion, it's too close to "Drunk Me," and I think that maybe that's kind of what they were banking off of.
Yeah,
maybe, but he's got so many other really, really good songs on it. "Bitches" is not a song that he would release to radio, but it's a damn good song.
I'm so surprised that you like that song because I was kind of like taken back by that.
I love that song because here's my thing is, and this is not a, gender-based type of statement, but, there's some people out there that in your life, whether it's male or female, and you just say, you know what, I'm done. I can't, I'm done with bitches, man. Any form of it, whether it be male, female, I'm out. I can't, I'm better than that. It's like cutting the toxicity out of your life, right? So
yeah, I guess I didn't think about it that way.
So that's kind of where I tied in, but I don't know. I just think Mitchell's a really, really talented guy, and I'm hoping that he continues to see success, and I hope that "I'll Call You Later" does continue to climb as well. Look
at you, surprising me left and right.
So I'm a man of music, not just defined by one genre box.
I never thought you were.
Thank you.
Clint Black is the throwback for the weekend.
Incredibly funny, as well as he is talented.
I don't think I've seen him live before, so I can't say for sure.
Hilarious. He was at our St. Jude event that we had in February, or was it late January? Late January. And I tell you what, man, he was up with the younger guys, and he poked a little fun and not necessarily just at them, but at himself too. And he's got a great sense of humor, and just to hear "Like the Rain" live is just gonna be one of those moments that's gonna be goosebumps for me.
I just hope the crowd reacts better to him than they did Tracy Lawrence.
I think they will. I think that he'll be on at a time in which it will be a better experience, we'll say.
Yeah.
But it's a Sunday show. That's going to be the difficult part too.
Right. And then Granger Smith is supposed to be on the lineup as well. Obviously, he just suffered an incredibly awful, tragic loss recently. So I haven't heard that his performance on next Sunday is going to be canceled. So as of right now, I'm assuming he's still going to be there. So, I mean, if he is, it'll be great to see him live because I don't think I've gotten to see him yet. But yeah, I like Granger. The last song that he recently released, "Damn Straight," is a great song. I said it last week. Kudos to Jordan Rager, one of the songwriters on that song. He did an excellent job with it, and I'm glad to see him have an artist as big as Granger cut it.
I think with obviously the tragic events that Granger's gone through, I don't think that he would cancel the performance because it's such a big performance and event. I wouldn't blame him one bit,
right,
if he did. But I think I think that if he does show up, I think the crowd reaction and the fan reaction for him will be overwhelming, in my opinion. And
yeah, 100%.
In such a positive way and a supportive way, because country music, the thing that we talked about way in the beginning 2 hours ago in this podcast, is the fact that country music is more special than just a song and a dance to go along with the song. We're a family, we're a community, and when one of our brothers or sisters falls down, we pick them up and we all carry them. And that's going to be what happens on June 23rd.
For sure. I can 100% see that happening, and I hope it does. And I think it could be good for Granger. You know what I mean? I think it'll be what he needs at this point.
Definitely.
And then obviously the headliner for Sunday night is Luke Bryan, who no doubt is just going to go over so well. People are, I mean, when people think mainstream country music, that's what they think. It's Luke Bryan.
I definitely will say I agree. He's got, again, another artist that has so many songs that whether you are not a fan of pop country, whether you're a fan more of the traditional side, there's music for everybody in Luke's catalog.
He's got quite the catalog.
And you've got slow songs, Drink a Beer, you've got these fast songs, Country Girl Shaking for Me, you've got new songs with Knockin' Boots.
Which I'm not a fan of that song.
Nobody likes the song. Nobody likes the song. Everybody says literally and again, generally speaking, the country music demographic is almost evenly split. It leans a little bit more female. But every woman that I've talked to that has literally brought up the song to me tells me they really think the song sucks.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I can't disagree with them, but it's Luke Bryan and it's still going to be a hit and it's still going to be stuffed down your throats, unfortunately, due to the Vital Organ Corporation.
I don't ever want to say I hope an artist's song doesn't go number one, but if a song like that goes number one over songs that really, really should go number one.
Yep.
I mean, that's just, if that doesn't wake people up to what's wrong with country radio and the industry in general, then I don't know what will.
Yeah. And it's disappointing if that does happen, because again, On My Way to You, Cody Johnson's been on the charts trying to move for a long time now, and it's still creeping up there, and it's going to get there eventually. I have faith in that, but if Brian somehow passes that up and gets there, I'm going to drive down and I'm going to not knock boots, but I'm going to, I don't know, slash tires or something. I don't know. Something. Come on.
But yeah, so that pretty much rounds out the Lakeshake lineup for next weekend. Like I said, June 21st through the 23rd. And Matt will be there all weekend, and hopefully I will be there. As of right now, I don't. As of the time that I'm recording this episode of the podcast, I don't know yet if I'm going to be there. I'm waiting for that email confirmation to come through. But so I will definitely keep everyone updated.
If it makes you feel any better, we still have not gotten our information or instructions on media passes either. So
that does make me feel better.
It's not just you. It's literally, and again, I've got to reach out to our contact as well too, and just say, hey, when can we expect this? Because we're a week out.
Yeah, I know. I reached out last week, and she's like, I should be sending out approval soon. Okay, because at that point it was 2 weeks out, and now we're a week out. So it's like, I hate the last minuteness of stuff, but that's just the industry,
It is.
So, but yeah, so I mean, I think it's gonna be a fun weekend as always. People, they think a big city like Chicago, they don't typically think, country music, but we know how to get our redneck on, so to speak.
It's like I always say, it's got to be countrywide, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Original words. Anytime you hear something similar to that, they ripped it off for me.
Right. But yeah, so like I said, that wraps up our feature segment, which was Lakeshake Fest this year. And so we want to thank Matt again for coming on.
Thanks for having me, putting up with my crap.
Not at all. We love having you. Like I said, our listeners apparently love hearing you on the podcast, so we'll definitely have to have you back again.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And then next week we'll have more new music, more music updates. We'll give you a rundown of how Lakeshake Fest went if we're able to be there. And yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, hopefully we'll have some interviews coming. And then until next time, happy listening.